Peace to the family, peace to the family. Your brother Reggie's okay. I'm gonna tell you what happened. How we doing? How we doing? Now where's Brother La at? Call Brother La. La's my road dog. And I told him to check in. You know, how can I say, Brother La, he catches up. And he sees things. Yeah, he sees things. He sees me getting that sorted out. Ready. Anything crazy, I usually call Brother La. Nika, how you doing? So you know, a lot of people are just doing, they like and they don't really do anything for black folks. They do, you know, like Planeta. Planeta's back with the police, right? Because he always got his camera. So, you know, I do big movies, so I always have interaction. If I see something, I do something. I'm gonna turn out the music. I don't know what's going on here. See if I can. Give me a second. Let's see what's going on with this music. Yeah. Hey, y'all know when I see something, I usually do something. Sometimes it's interfering with the police. Sometimes it's interfering with the police, and that doesn't necessarily work on my behalf. But if I see something, I do something, and or I say something, and so y'all gonna see what happens. Let me just click on the chat to see what's gonna happen. You're gonna see what I do in the street, civic duty. Y'all gonna see it, and I'm gonna say what you see me do. Don't do it. Chat show on stream. Yeah, what you see me do, don't do it. I mean, you got to have some skills. You got to be ready to run. You. There's a lot of things that you got to be when you're doing civic duty in the street. There's a lot of things you have to be concerned with. So, can't hear you. Wow, you can't hear me now. R&B. Pause this. Can y'all hear me? What happened? Turn down the music. Let's see the chat. Troy Pointer. Yeah, peace. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Somebody say yes or no. It was working a second ago. Okay, great. Thanks, Vaza. Okay, great. So some of the things that you see people who are conscious do in the street, not everybody can actually do it. You have to actually be trained. And so you have to get training by working in some type of organization that works on behalf of saving Black lives. There are a lot of YouTube channels. They report on things, but they're not involved in anything dealing with our people's lives, right? And there's a lot of people, they're just straight cowards. They don't, they may be on YouTube, but they won't interfere and do anything, but they'll report on it. So what I'm getting ready to show you, right? So don't believe everything and all the personalities that you see on YouTube, especially those people talking about Black Power when you've never seen them be active in doing anything. Um, you know, you could see clips of Brother Reggie with the KKK. You can people do know about my long history working with Dr. Leonard Jeffries, um, and a lot of my other type of activities in the movement. Right? You can see Brother Reggie active. So Brother Reggie is active. A lot of people on YouTube are jokes. Those people from the Black Panther Party, I respect them because they do have training, and some of the other organizations where I know people were trained from, they have training. So without further ado, because I'm not going to be long, but so let's play this, right? Again, this is not for everybody. A lot of people just put up their cameras and they do nothing, but this is something that we can learn from. All right. So here we go. I'm doing.
Why y'all stopping people? I'm backed up.
All right. So here goes right here. So the flood's coming.
Why y'all stopping people? I'm backed up. I'm backed up. No. You're conducting what? Illegal stop and seizures. That's what you're conducting. Right? I got my cell phone on. I'm in my rights. I'm reporting about police stops in the Bronx for no.
Okay, so these are things they set up in Black and Latino communities, and they're called traffic stops, right? And what they do is they put about 3 or 4 vehicles, and then what they do is, as you're coming down the street, then what they do is they just stop you. And most people think that when they stop you, right, that's legally, that they can stop you. But there's strict guidelines about being stopped by the police, right? Even if they're having a traffic stop, and we're going to go over the rules, right? So Brother Reggie gets involved in this because I'm walking down the street in my neighborhood, and I'm by the highway, and it's late at night, roughly about 1:30, 2 o'clock at night, and I'm going to get some snacks because I had a rough day earlier and I forgot to eat. And so I'm on my way to the corner store, which is uh, outside of my community. So I'm going toward the gas stations, right, by the highway, right? 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So then I see something that's going on, right? So let's go.
Reason whatsoever. I got my hands up in my phone.
So the first thing the police.
Why you stopping?
So when I see what's going on, immediately begin to talk to the police, right? So let's go back and let's listen to my first words. Now, I don't recommend this to anybody, but this is me. So when I do come up and I start talking, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to blind me. So this is what they did. All right. So
why y'all stopping?
Now, mind you, these lights that you're seeing right here, the police officers are trying to blind me and stop me from filming. Okay. Y'all can hear me? I'm just checking. Can you hear me? Somebody say yes, so I could continue. I just want to make sure I'm still streaming. Hello? Can someone say yes, they hear me? Okay, so I can't tell. Well, uh, okay, great. This. Okay, great. So thank you so much, Barn Dog. So the first thing the police do is when I start to complain, they when I start to complain about what they're doing, they start to blind me, right? So they're blinding me, and even though I'm filming, they are blinding me, right? So they're using a weapon on me.
People, I'm backed up. I'm back.
So now I'm on the sidewalk. I'm under the underpass on the highway. It's dark, and they're forcing me to back up when I don't have to back up because I'm on the sidewalk. So this is the way it starts. They blind me, so I can't see them, but they're looking at me, everything that I'm doing, and they're blinding me.
Backed up. No. You're conducting what?
So he's going to try to tell me he's conducting a police what, right? So let's see what he says. He's going to tell me that he's conducting.
People, I'm backed up. I'm backed up. No. You're conducting what? Illegal stop and seizures. That's what you're conducting.
So he's going to try to tell me they're doing police business, and I'm saying that it's illegal. They're illegally stopping people, right? So there's an officer on his side, one officer on his side, while he's prone with his flashlight in my face.
Right? I got my cell phone on. I'm in my rights. I'm reporting.
Now I got my cell phone recording, and I got my other hand up in the air.
About police stops in the Bronx for no reason whatsoever. I got my hands up in my phone. Why are you stopping people? For what reason?
So now there's 3 cops, right? Altogether there's 6 cops. Now they had just stopped 2 young black men, and they came down the street. And they came down the street slowly because they were confused about the police lights, trying to figure out what it was. The police made eye contact with them and pulled them over. Right? And that's right, Visor. Yep. I'll put that up. So these are 2 young brothers, roughly maybe about 27 years old, right? So the police made eye contact to them and motioned them to come over. So that means they have to obey this illegal action that the police are having. Okay, watch.
What have they done? What have they done? See, y'all bullies. Bullies with a badge. Do you stop?
Okay, so now what happened is they took the young people's paperwork, right? Now they're crowding around the vehicle, looking for anything that they can to pull them out of the vehicle. The only difference is that Brother Reggie happens to be there, right? Brother Reggie happens to be there, right? Because what they want to do is they want to pull him out the vehicle, right?
Stop them for no reason whatsoever. Because they black? Why'd you stop them?
Oh, now I said something wrong. They're black. Why? Because I was watching it. Why'd they stop them?
Why don't you go on 5th Avenue? Matter of fact, why don't you go in the Italian neighborhoods?
They don't do it downtown. You hardly ever see any of these police stops downtown. And I'm going to tell you why. And they certainly don't go to the Italian neighborhoods, and they don't go to where people are really selling drugs, right? But they will go to a kind of normal community, right? I live in a low crime community at least where I'm at. Down the block, that's another story. Down a couple blocks, that's another story. But where I live, it's low crime.
Do that there? Should feel ashamed of yourselves. That's how you make your money. But I'll tell you one thing. Pretty sure you are really scared to go where the bad people go.
Okay, so now this is where it comes on to the point where you have to be cautious, because what I'm doing is I'm egging them on. I'm egging them on. I'm starting to assault them because they're doing something illegal, right? And I'm egging them on. I don't advise anybody to do what I'm doing and using my words. The best thing that you can do is photograph. But in this particular case, I know the law and I know what they're doing wrong.
Bad people do crimes, you are really, really scared to go there. Stopping people on the street for no reason. So I know my council member, so I'm gonna talk to my council member about this and give him the recording. And that you're blocking me from recording.
So now they put the lights back in my face. They didn't like what I said. So there's an officer in the middle of the street, and instead of doing his job with the oncoming traffic, right, what he is doing is he's trying to blind me.
He did nothing wrong, and you're gonna let him go, and you're gonna look for the next black guy. That's what.
Now, Mr. Officer right there, he wants to come and confront me, right? And let's continue watching.
What you do? So I'm gonna put this on YouTube.
Okay, one car, right? They already got the young brother's ID, right? So now they're standing around the vehicle for no particular reason. They're standing around the vehicle looking for what? Right? Looking for what? He's not under arrest. He is detained because of the stop, the illegal stop. But now what they're trying to do is that they're trying to egg them on.
Thank you. F you.
So now, again, I am egging the police on because I knew what they was doing illegal. They wanted to pull these young brothers out. They wanted to go inside their car illegally, right? They wanted to go and search their trunk and do all of that stuff. And then the officer sees me there. He can't do it, right? And then he tells the people, whatever, the young brothers, thank you. And I see what's going on, and it's illegal. So I said, no, thank you. F you.
They ain't do nothing wrong in the first place. You're cowards with badges. What? You don't stop them because what? They not black? You only here stopping black people? I'm gonna wait for your next car. I'm gonna wait for your next car.
Now, I don't know what Kent is saying or is trolling because I have him blocked on my side, so I don't entertain him. But the fact of the matter is, people like him, sorry, I got something in my pocket. People like him, you might see him on YouTube, but you never see him in the streets in the community. So he can say whatever he wants to say. I'm Brother Reggie, and that dude is who he is. All right, so let's go. So now the police is looking for their next victim.
Real tough guys, huh? Well, you look and see if he's black? What you looking for?
Okay, so why didn't they pull that person over, right? What are they looking for? Now, mind you, there are about 6 or 7 officers. I'm going to say 6. I think the other one is the supervisor sitting in the car. So altogether, 7 officers making about $50 an hour, maybe $60 an hour, right? So you got how can I say city money being spent to taxpayers who pay through our taxes for these police officers to be harassed. This is what we call black debt.
But you won't go to where the tough guys are, where the real crime is. You won't go there. This night's overtime. How many cops are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? What do you make it? $50 an hour? $60 an hour? Yeah, I know. And when you go home to your wives and stuff, you tell them about how you fought crime and how you protecting the city.
Now that's a no-no. So again, in this particular case, I kind of want to smoke, right? Because I'm recording. All this goes away if they take the evidence away, but they had already turned on their body cams. So my whole point of it is, what are y'all really doing? Are you really stopping crime? Or are you harassing people who probably only contact with the police would be a traffic stop? Most people, most Black people, Latino people who live together, do you know that they're really only contact with the police is through traffic, police stops, being pulled over, speeding tickets, stop sign? That's the majority of Black and Latino contact with the police right here. So they're creating contact.
Straight cowards.
Okay. But now that's a no-no, but remember, I'm egging them on, right? Because what they're doing is something illegal. So I'm egging them on, right? So you probably know, or maybe we'll find out actually what happens after this. So
I'm gonna wait for the next car on the sidewalk. And it's funny, you take off your uniforms, you run into ICE, you pull out your badge, that don't mean shit to some of you.
Meaning that when ICE is in our neighborhood, and if some of these officers got off their uniforms, they're Latino and Black, right? How you think ICE treats them? Like they're monkeys, right? And so some of these Latino cops who are doing things like this to the community, well, guess what? Their wives, their sons, and their children will be also pulled over by another unit called ICE. And if they're there, their IDs really don't mean anything, right? That's the truth. So I just wanted them to hear that.
When they stop your wives and your children, hey, come on. I'm safe. I'm off the sidewalk. I'm on the sidewalk.
Okay, so they're irritated. So they're looking for something that I am doing wrong. So me being in the street in between the two cars, right? That's a problem for them. But I am trying to photograph what they are seeing when they stop these cars. But they don't want me to see that, right? So now all of a sudden, now they are agitated, and you see the little red thing right here. He got his body cam on. Okay, there you go. All right.
I'm not gonna tell you again. Okay.
So he's not going to tell me again. All right. So he's trying to now create more of an agitation. He wants to make me the issue. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, you're not gonna tell me get on the sidewalk? I'm on the sidewalk. I'm a big boy. And just keep stopping Black people. That's what you do.
So why they were messing with me and being distracted, cars went through. Now the only cars that's gonna get stopped is the cars that see the police there, see what's going on, and it's really trying to obey the law, right? They're the ones who are going to be stopped, the ones who make eye contact, the ones that breeze by, right? No, they're breezing by, but it's the only ones who are actually trying to comply with the law. They're the ones who's going to be pulled over.
Worry about me. Tough guy.
Now that's a no-no, but again, I see what they're doing.
You're real tough. Go to where they really sell drugs and do crimes. Right? Hey, listen. There's places in Queens. There's all these. Go to the cartels. Go to those people. Go Arthur Avenue and do it.
So yeah, there's organized crime happening all over New York, right? They don't pull over those people, because if they pull over those people, right, then they are risking their lives. So they're in, as you can see, it's a low traffic neighborhood. You know, every 2 minutes, 3 minutes, there might be a car. Okay.
Stop. Cold cowards.
Now this is about, again, 1:30, 2 o'clock. There is one kind of restaurant bar in the neighborhood, but it's closed. So these people, most of these people are coming home or going to work, right? It's no foot traffic. You don't see any foot traffic, right? So most of these cars, they're trying to go home or go to work.
This how I'm a taxpayer, and this how I pay my tax dollars. People like you stealing time. You're stealing time from taxpayers. This is easy. You're just thieves. Masquerading as police officers. Real tough guys. Looking for black folks. You're not going to tell me again to get on the sidewalk. That's the best you can do?
That's right, brother Savio. That's some of us, right? Some of us will get off of YouTube, right? Off of that clickbait, that clickbait dollars, right? That giggle dollars that they get, and they will engage themselves in the streets and deal with the people who are really harassing us, which is the police. And I'm not saying all police, but I'm just trying to say that this is a directive and it is illegal. So I got a few more minutes of this video before the climax. Pause, and then I'll just go over some of the law.
What? He's not black yet?
No, he wasn't black, right? They just let him go, right? He made eye contact with them. He wasn't black. He wasn't Latino. Let him go.
What are y'all looking for?
That's my point. What is it that these police officers are looking for to pull you over? That's my point. I'm observing to find out because I know the rules, right? So what are they looking for? So when I show you the law, usually they have some type of standard count. Every 3 cars, but it has to be every 3 cars. Every 2 cars, but it has to be every 2 cars, right? Not every car, but every 3 cars, every 4 cars. It just can't be, right, when they look at someone. In this particular case, they're hunting for a particular type of passenger in the vehicle, right? So we'll come back to that when we deal with the law, but there's strict criteria. They have to pull over. If they're doing this, sobriety, I call them traps. They have to pull over every 3 car, every 4 car. In a busy area, maybe every 2 car, depending on how many officers they have. They just can't pull you over randomly. So when they do that, that's illegal.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out here. So these officers picking and choosing who they stop. They just stopped 2 black folks for no reason. Let them go.
They only let them go. They only let them go is because I was right there. That's the only reason why they would continue to ask you questions, ask you, have you been drinking? Have you stepped out your car? Right? They only let them go because I was on it. But I'm aggravating them, right? I am aggravating these police, right? But they should be aggravating because they're breaking all type of laws.
Okay, he got a Puerto Rican flag on.
So now I look, I'm like, why is she stopping them? Well, I look in the window and the driver, he unfortunately has a flag in his window. And he was driving slowly. He was legally driving. He wasn't swerving. He made the mistake of making eye contact. Why? Because he's trying to figure out why the police are out there, right? And be cautious. That was his mistake. That gave them enough time to see the police, to see the Puerto Rican flag, so he gets pulled over.
He Boricua. You're going to do your own like that.
I said that because most of the officers that was doing this are, in fact, Latino. So he's going to pull over a Latino driver with a flag. Saw the flag in the window? Okay.
He ain't do
nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Now that police officer there with that ponytail on top of his head, they do that in South America, right? He doesn't even have his police hat on. None of them have their police hats on, right?
Oh, here go the tough guy.
So there's the goon squad. Here they go. They got one.
March it. He ain't do nothing wrong. These people going to work, go home to their families. What you looking for? License plate? What you looking for? He ain't do nothing wrong. Why you taking the picture of his license plate? Oh, you ain't got nothing to do. You I spy. Look, I'm gonna go to the store, come right back. Hey, y'all stealing taxpayer dollars.
Okay, so then what he does is really interesting. The guy was pulled over. He gave his paperwork. And now what are they doing? They already have their police cameras on, right? Now the guy goes over, and what he does is he takes a photo of the guy's license plate. Now, that's problematic to me because they have his ID. Why do you need to take a photo of his license plate? And then when I see this and I call him I spy, here comes the lights right back in my face. Now, you know they're getting real upset with me, right?
In the Bronx, there's places where you can go, but you don't want to go there. You want to harass people. Oh, you stopped him because he had a Puerto Rican flag in his...
They don't like that.
That's why you stopped him. Because he had a Puerto Rican flag. Y'all some cowards. What, because he's brown? Y'all nothing but slave catch.
Yeah, see, I'm not in Kent's gang. but you won't see a video of Kent doing anything to help black people. He's just a troll. But you won't see him. He's not knowledgeable when he actually comes on. He's just a professional troll, right? He just wants to be at the desk and wants to be seen and heard. Uh, so you know, you can ignore him or you cannot. But at the end of the day, this is not about him. This is about what these police officers are doing that's illegally. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop me from uh, filming exactly what they're doing.
Stealing money from taxpayers. I bet you go to Arthur Avenue, they'll laugh at you.
Arthur Avenue in the Bronx is where the good fellas are at. The good fellas. I mean, the professional good fellas. You know, their type of people. You know, the MOB, right? Those soldiers, oh, they live on Arthur Avenue around Fordham Road. That's where they go to their restaurants. That's in the Bronx. They also have places in City Island and all the way down on East Tremont, right? Those are the ones that live all the way down on East Tremont. Yeah, that's the big boys. Arthur Avenue, mostly the soldiers, but the people that live in these luxurious mansions, they live all the way down on East Tremont. You will never see any police contact because then they'd be concerned. Are they watching us? You know how they do. Are they watching us? If you watch any of the any of the mob stories, right? Hey Johnny, go out there and see what's going on. Hey, do we know any of them are ours? Meaning police that they mess with, police that they or friends of theirs, police that's on the take. Go see if what we call it, right? Is a lieutenant out there, right? You know, that's what they will do. But this won't happen. Listen, they're scaring our wives and our children. We can't sleep at night. Of course, moms just can't sleep at night with police lights. They can't sleep at night, right? So, and it's not all mobsters, but it's their kind of people that live there, right? Their community. You won't see these Latino and Black officers in their neighborhoods because as I'm making noise, they make noise too. And their name calling is a little bit rougher than mine, right? They get the fuck out of here, you know, right? And so that's why I said Arthur Avenue. Okay, so they got a nice truck. He's probably going to work or coming home from work, and he's got a Puerto Rican flag on it. He makes contact, and now he's their subject.
You're gonna pick easy prey. And you're acting like you're doing something. You illegally stopped him. There was no reason to.
One vehicle, right? 6 cops surrounding him, like this is at war. But America's at war right now. The military's on our streets, right? So this is just a symptom. But when the military comes on our streets, you see these Black and brown officers, they're going to be at risk too, and their families.
Stop him. These are law-abiding citizens in the Bronx trying to get home. There you go. Walking back. Nah. You harassed him. You stopped him illegally. There was no reason to stop him. Don't say goodbye.
Yeah, no pleasantries. No pleasantries. You failed. And so I helped this vehicle driver from being forced out of his vehicle, searched, and for the officers to go inside his vehicle. So that's this is the third car The other car that you didn't see when I started, because I didn't pull out my phone at that point because I need to take some time to figure out what was going on.
You only stopped him because he had a Puerto Rican flag. So we can't put Puerto Rican flags in our windshield.
Damn sure don't put a red, black, and green flag or a Jamaican flag on your windshield, right? That's that's causing you problems. So we can't even exercise who we are, right? Maybe watch this. Maybe a FBA flag and we'll get through because it's red, white, and blue. Because they figure they Americans, right? But maybe they might get through. But please don't put a red, black, and green flag in your windshield. I mean, you should be able to, but you really can't in the world that we live in.
Wasting his time. Where y'all going? Oh, you made your money? Oh, man. Oh, this is great, y'all. This is great.
Okay, so now, so let's get this up. The bump in your head. That's exactly right. So now I'm walking back. So let's play this again, right? So
there was no reason to stop him. Don't say goodbye. You only stopped him because he had a Puerto Rican flag.
So no pleasantries. That's how they do it. They literally take away your rights, harass you, and then to cover it, they want to give you pleasantries like, okay, you slave, you complied, right? But we can't get you today because there's a camera on us, right? Can't get you today because there's a camera on you. All right, so now
we can't put Puerto Rican flags in our windshield. Wasting his time.
Okay, so now they're marching. So now I'm moving back, right? So Brother Reggie is like, okay, are they coming for me, right? Or are they going to try to sideways grab me? So are they going to walk on the side to get in front of me, right? So I'm like, okay, this is not good. This is not good, family. So now I'm like, okay. And then this happened.
Where y'all going? Oh, you made your money? Oh, man. Oh, this is great, y'all.
So now I realize that we were victorious. They gave in. They figured this was not a good look for them, family. So no. In the title, Brother Reggie Gets Arrested, ? It could have went either way, right? I could have gotten arrested. I didn't get arrested, right? But I also stopped other people from being arrested. Yes, love my fro. I'm out there by myself, right? I was born out the womb by myself, and many times I'm out by myself. Occasionally, Brother Law be out there, right? I might go find Brother Law, and we might sit down and we might chill. I go to his side and we might chill. But tonight it was interesting because the whole day I was doing court action. I served some papers and to a defense attorney who is, how can I say, really, really sore because they lost their summary judgment against the person that I have been working with. And so our opposition motion succeeded against their summary judgment. If you know what a summary judgment is, they were trying to dismiss the case. And their client called the person that I'm working with a nigger in a board meeting. And so a long time ago, the neighbor of mine asked me, he says, Reggie, you know about law? And I said, I know a little bit about law. How can I help you? He says, I want to sue this woman who called me a nigger. I said, okay. And he asked, I said, how do you want it? What do you want to do? And he says, well, what can I do? I said, well, there's defamation. It can't be racism because you weren't working for her. It wasn't in a, you can't sue the business because it was her own personal action. So you can sue her personally for defamation. And he says, well, how do you do it? I said, well, you got to write a complaint. You got to write a complaint, not just a complaint that survives. So he says, I don't know how to do it. I says, okay, well, I'll do it for you. So I wrote his, helped him write his complaint, the basis, the skeleton, and he wrote the rest of the complaint. But I put all the causes of action in the complaint for him so he can survive. And nevertheless, they ended up uh, hiring a law office, a firm on Madison Avenue, and then they put in papers to dismiss our complaint, and they failed because I wrote the complaint really well. And uh, around this day that this is happening, this is on October 1st. Well, roughly on October 1st, um, what happened was that the court came back and dismissed their summary judgment. Summary judgment is when there's no dispute in the law, and that one side who is doing summary judgment saying that the facts are on their side, there's no dispute in the law, and they can move to summary judgment. But the problem with this case is that the defendant never gave us discovery and wrote a one-sided summary judgment without our ability to defend ourselves in this particular action of defamation. And so a lot of things was going on this day because we had October 1st is when the decision came in, but October 2nd, they on another part of the case, they were trying to give us, they had to reply to another motion that we put in. And then we had to do opposition to that motion in a short time because their opposition came in 2 or 3 days later than the court order. And so it was just busy, and I was just hadn't eaten, and I was out in the street. But nevertheless, from this, they gave up. The police gave up. So I think
This is great. Yo, hey, but yo, hey, have a good tour. Go home to your family. Just don't tell them what you did tonight. I appreciate you too.
now, interesting. It's really interesting that the officer said he appreciates. Now, unfortunately, some officers don't want to do what they're being forced to do, but they're being forced to do it by their sergeants. And as Morpheus had told me about this, their quotas, right? So they don't want to be out here harassing their own neighbors because some of them have girlfriends in this area. Some of them may have children in this area, or children go to school in this area, and these people look like us. But a lot of times it's coming from higher up. But nevertheless, what they was doing was illegal. So the officer says, I said, have a good tour. And he says he appreciates me, right?
So here, ladies and gentlemen, this brother Reg chasing him off the block, right? Chasing him off the block.
Yeah, because what I'm doing is they were trying to hopefully get an arrest, right? Something illegal in a vehicle. Well, if you're drunk, you should not be driving. So I'm not trying to protect drunk and high drivers. I'm not trying to do that. But in this particular neighborhood, I mean, it's like a needle in a haystack. There will probably be one person who's drunk or high, right? And I got that. And should they be stopped? Yes. Should they be on the road? No. They could certainly hurt someone, but generally at this time of night in this particular neighborhood, people are just trying to go to work and try to go home.
Now I got to get out of here. Yo, because
Okay, so yeah, so he goes to lights, camera.
you don't know how it goes down, right? They couldn't get me then. He can get me now. But Brother Reggie chased him off the goddamn block, right? Stopping black and Puerto Rican people and they people of color. Can you believe that? Peace.
So here they go. This is their grand finale. Brother Reggie did not get arrested this night. Brother Reggie is not ever trying to get arrested, even in protest.
No, good night. Good night. Oh man. See, this is what you gotta
I don't know what's happening with this thing.
do. This is what you gotta do, family.
Okay, so I'm gonna close out. What's Joe Bailey's trying to say? Love my fro is dangerous. Being black and brown is dangerous in America. It's more dangerous than it's ever been in America right now. Right? Yes, it's dangerous. Just to be a person of color, right, in America is dangerous. They don't have a reason to stop you. They don't have to have a reason to stop you, right? They don't have to have a reason to harass you, right? That's just America. Violence in America is like apple pie. What Joe Bailey got to say? Peace, Joe Bailey. What you got to say? Remember Pete Puma and Bugs Bunny? How many lumps do you want? Oh, 3 or 4. Be safe out there, big brother. Save the smoke for Ice. Oh no, Ice is on our blocks. Ice is pulling people's who are taking their children to school. Ice is trapping them. Ice is on Westchester Square in the Bronx. Ice is on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. Ice is in Fordham Road on the Bronx. Ice is on 207th Street in the Bronx. They pull up, and they're near the they're certainly near transit, whether bus or trains. They're there in the mornings, and the way that they do it is, a lot of times what they're doing in New York is basically they stand by the train stations and the bus stations, and certainly if you think that you're going to hop the train, right? Okay, so now the regular police will pull you over because you hopped the train. That's a $50 to $100 fine, right? But once you don't have the proper ID, then you go to exit stage right? Then there's these guys there, and these guys take you, right? So in New York, they're a little slicker how they do it. They try to get you to run, but in the early days of ICE, what they were doing is everybody that was delivering, Uber, any Uber Eats or any of those things. If you was on a bike, you automatically get stopped, right? So they targeted the Africans, mostly the Africans who are trying to make a living for their families, who's doing Uber, and certainly a lot of the Latino populations. And what they do is they pull you over based on a bike. Do you have a license for it, right? And et cetera, and they pull you over and then they take you in your bike. So that is happening in New York, right? That is okay. Peace, sister. That is happening in New York. So I'm going to just spend a few seconds on the law. So let's so that you know the law. That doesn't mean the law is going to help you, but at least you know the law. All right. So let me blow this up. Let me blow this up and we'll be out of here. I haven't streamed in a long time, but I wanted to stream with something that's going to help us with our lives. All right, is that all right with y'all? So let's bring this up a little bit. Is that okay with y'all? Because I'm not doing a show on clicks and giggles. Even though I think history is important, I don't just do history. So let's go through this real quick. Oh, and if anybody thought this was valuable, you want to buy me lunch tomorrow, I would appreciate that. I'm glad so many people are happy that today I'm not arrested, but I have been detained, um, all of that. So let's put this in. I have been detained. I've had to run. I've run. No, I'm not trying. No, I've run, right? Yeah. So, but here's the law. Police checkpoints, most commonly called sobriety or DUI or DUI checkpoints, driving under the influence or driving while intoxicated, or uniquely regulated by both constitutional and procedural rules in the United States. These requirements exist to protect individual rights while enabling law enforcement to pursue public safety objectives, specifically targeting impaired or unsafe drivers. This is not what they were doing. The purpose and foundation of police checkpoints. Checkpoints are legally only when their primary aim is public safety, particularly the detection and deterrence of offenses like drunk driving. That's not what they were doing. The U.S. Supreme Court authorizes these actions when law enforcement follows rigid guidelines, ensuring that such roadblocks are not used as a general tool for criminal investigation or to indiscriminately search for contraband. Well, in this particular case, let's blow this up a little bit. Um, this wasn't a high traffic area. The restaurants, bars were already closed. So in this particular case, it seems like these officers were not following these guidelines. They were targeting um, individuals or people, black and brown people, for criminal investigations and to indiscriminately search for contraband. They could not do that while I was there. All right. Now, the strict legal requirements in operation. There are several non negotiable rules that law enforcement must observe when establishing and operating a checkpoint. Let me know if any of these rules that you witnessed that they abided by. Supervisors, not field officers, must make all major decisions concerning the checkpoint's location, timing, and manner of operation. Well, it seemed like the supervisor was in his vehicle. So it was, in fact, the field officers making the decisions on who to stop. Officers in the field cannot decide who to stop and who to let pass. Those choices must follow a predetermined neutral formula, such as stopping every third or fifth car. Did anybody see that they were applying this? There weren't that many cars. So it wasn't every third or fifth car. It was whoever they wanted to stop. Departments are mandated to have written guidelines and checkpoint plans in advance, specifying the stopping procedure, the method of approach, and the protocol for addressing drivers. Any deviation from this plan, including on-the-fly adjustments by officers, can invalidate the entire checkpoint and exclude any evidence or arrest resulting from it in court. So if anybody was arrested today while Brother Reggie's happened to be going to the store late at night and they saw my video and they was arrested, well, their attorney can look at it and say the same things that I'm saying. That in fact, it was the field officers making the decisions. It wasn't every third or every fifth car. It was a deviation. It was on the fly decisions. Right? So, hey, Sosa, peace to you. Luckily, I was not arrested. But anybody that watched the video, I was on my way to get arrested. It could have went either way. Next, notice to the public. How did I mess that up? Okay. Okay. Sorry. I went too far. What? Something happened. Sorry. Okay. So here we go. Okay. 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 Notice to the public beforehand is essential. So there was no notice beforehand. There was no signs to let um, the people in the community know that there were going to be stops. This can take the form of a press release. There was no press release issue, radio announcements, and visible signatures on approach to the checkpoint. No, if you turned on that street or you crossed that light, you ran right into it, so there was no notice. The area must be clearly marked and employ appropriate lighting and warnings to approaching drivers. Uh, None of this was followed. It was under an underpath of a highway. It was a dark road, right? The only thing that you could see is the police lights. The duration of any stop at a checkpoint must be kept to an absolute minimum. Officers may briefly request a driver's license, registration, insurance, and look for immediate signs of impairment or legal violations. Prolonged detentions are unconstitutional unless there's a reasonable suspicion that a specific crime has been or is being committed. Well, in this particular case, I had my camera on. Um, uh, they are legally able to stop you asking for your driver's license or registration, right? But however, they were supposed to give warnings that there was going to be a traffic stop schedule in my community. That wasn't given. Motorist rights at checkpoints. Drivers at checkpoints must present their documentation when requested, but have the categorical right to remain silent beyond such identification. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to answer any questions. You don't have to do that. There's no obligation to answer questions about movements, destination, or whether the driver has consumed alcohol. If they ask you, have you been drinking? You shouldn't say anything. Where you going? You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything but give them your driver's license and registration, right? Now, but if they're going to gang up on you like they were doing with those vehicles, you can guess anything will happen, right? Now, it says, right, but a refusal is not itself a crime unless dictated by specific state law. So you can refuse. Officers are not permitted to search the vehicle or individuals unless they obtain explicit consent or have specific or articulable probable cause to suspect illegal activity or evidence of a crime is present. These officers will create suspicious activity, right? And then once you start speaking to them, then you're in trouble because they're going to keep asking you questions until they don't like your answers. Then they're going to pull you out their vehicle. Refusing a search cannot be held as evidence of guilt or reasonable suspicion. But in some places, what happens is ultimately, if they get access to your car, they might find a bag of dope, right? There's nothing that you can do about it, right? That does happen, right? If you open up your car or you volunteer to be searched, you should never volunteer to be searched. No matter how insistent they are, there's enough YouTube videos out here to show you how you can evade that, right? You ask for a supervisor. You ask for the supervisor of the, don't let the officers talk to you. You talk to the supervisor if you want to talk. The right to record interactions with police is preserved at checkpoints so long as recording does not physically interfere with the officer's duties. So you'll be stupid to put a phone in front of a police or grab a phone because you might get shot. So you don't do that. So you should already have a camera installed in your vehicle, right? And have it turned on. You should not touch anything. You should keep your hands on the wheels. That's not some people, if you ever watch Sinetta Sarnetta and them is not going to obey. And a lot of you are not going to obey. But look, whenever I'm stopped in a vehicle, and I have been stopped in desolate places like on City Island, or around Orchard Beach and places like that, I got my hands in the air. Why? Because I know any sudden movement, I could be shot, right? So passengers in general are not obligated to provide identification or answer questions unless there exists an independent legal reason for detention, such as suspicion of an offense, which they always create, right? Drivers who make illegal maneuvers to avoid checkpoints may be, by that act, provide police with a new probable cause to stop the vehicle outside the checkpoint. So those people who see the checkpoint and then they try to maneuver, right? Um, depending on how many officers they have, they will chase your ass down. One of the things that happens, for example, on the Puerto Rican Day Parade and the Dominican Day Parade, but particularly the Puerto Rican Day Parade, they are on the bridges. So you have to cross from the Bronx to Manhattan or from Manhattan back to the Bronx. They set up their checkpoints on the bridges so that and so they let you pass. So there's officers at the beginning and let you pass. So there's no way that you can U-turn. So they usually do that to trap motorcycles and those type of vehicles uh, coming into parades. If a driver is detained or arrested at a checkpoint, the right to request legal counsel applies immediately. No further questioning should take place without the presence of an attorney upon the driver's request. So the first thing that you should do is request legal counsel immediately and shut the F up, right? Because upon the driver's request and the right to remain silent continues. But if you want to think you're going to talk your way out of it, smile with the officer, right? No, that's not going to work. You either decide to shut up in the beginning or you decide to get evidence put on you from what you say. Documenting details of the checkpoint, such as the location, time, sequence of car stops, officers, names, or badge numbers, and conduct can provide valuable defense evidence if the checkpoint legality is later contested. So, in this particular case, the legality of the checkpoint is in fact questioned. Checkpoint setup and conduct summary. Here it is. So we don't description authority. So focus is traffic safety. Supervisor officers determine all operational criteria. That didn't happen in this case. Written guidelines. There was no written guidelines on this particular check stop that I know of. Advanced notice signage, none. Neutral stopping formula. We witnessed that they stopped whoever they wanted to stop. If you had a flag, if you was two black men, you're being stopped. Brief detention. It was short because it was being filmed by me. No search without cause. That didn't happen. And right to silence, attorneys, it didn't get that far. So with that said, I think that I am finished with the law. Now, one thing in the United States, in every county, we don't have equal justice, right? Lawyers are very expensive. Like we'd be broke if every time that something happened to us, we ran out and had a lawyer on retainer, right? Only the bad guys who are professionals have lawyers on retainers. The average attorney cost for something beginning like this is $2,500, right? $2,500, and then if you're arrested, then it goes to $5,000, right? For the preliminary, situation of when you go in front of the judge, and if in fact that you are called back to court. In criminal cases, I would never ever tell someone to represent themselves. You see a lot of people doing UCC I would not recommend that. At best, AT&B or public defender if you don't have the money. But if you're caught with something or something is planted on you, then the average case, criminal case, is It can be anywhere between $2,500 to $25,000, and then it depends on the charges. If it's resisting of arrest, or if they accuse you of resisting arrest and things like that, then it goes higher, right? Then it's bail, right? Bail is now they're trying to make cash bails. If you don't know, right? So now they're doing cash bails. So if you don't have the cash, then you sit in jail. You can sit in jail for 6 months to a year, depending on the case. If you don't have, if no one puts up bail for you, right? And goes through the process, and that's on the what do you call it? The basic city and state cases, right? For cash bails. So it's all the way around, all the way around. Dealing with a system that sets you up is real difficult. So what I'm going to do is quickly put in the uh, if anybody wants to add, I'm going to invite. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you all good night. And tomorrow I'm going to the museum. I'm going to the museum. They actually have a exhibition, a brand new exhibition, fresh exhibition on, guess what, y'all? Gods and goddesses of Egypt. And it's going to be a zoo, because everybody wants to know about the gods and goddesses of Egypt, the spooky stuff, right? And so it's going to be a zoo at the Met, and so I'm going to try to be present to give you some idea about they're gonna what they're displaying. Believe it or not, watch this. This exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art tomorrow is going to feature 150 gods and goddesses, and most of them goddesses in ancient Egypt. It is going to be a zoo of people who do go to museums, and that's not us. So it is. I figure when I see openings like this, sometimes they have a line, and I figure at least 1,000 people is waiting every hour to get into the exhibition, and have to wait till other people come out. And so, of those 1,000 people that will be there, I figure there will probably only be about 10 black folks, and most of the black folks that would be there will be from the continent of Africa. African Americans, African Caribbeans, they don't go to museums. They don't go to parks. They don't go to libraries. Uh, they don't go. So that's my general take on what I expect to see in the museum. So let me just see. Jose popped up, so let's see if I can find him. Jose Francis popped up. Hey, what's going on, good
Good
brother?
night, Brother Reggie. I have a interesting question as far as body cams are concerned. Why is it that officers have the access to turn on and off these body cams if it's mandatory for them to be on at all times while they're on duty? And do their supervising officers make sure when they leave the station this cam is on?
Well, what officers usually do is they don't turn them off. What they do is put something on it. So a lot of body cams, if you see, they have bands, and so all of a sudden they will obstruct uh, the camera. Once the camera's on, you can't automatically like turn it off, right? Uh, about body cams working, well, that's a big problem. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. I'm pretty sure the officers who know that their body cams don't work, right, they're not trying to have them work. That's just a convenience. even though it could protect them or apprehend the person who is trying to hurt them, but it's managed. So a lot of this stuff is after the fact. When discovery comes, if you're in a criminal case where the attorneys, depending on how much you are paying this attorney, ask for the body cam, and then that's in discovery.
All right. So then my question would be is if I am in a situation, I ask for the body cam footage. I find out there is no body cam footage, the cam is obstructed. Then what then is the prescribed punishment for the officer, if any, for
None.
violating
Uh,
that law? Because
no,
there's a
no,
they have laws that say these things should be on.
no. First of all, you ain't asking for S, right? Your attorney is asking for discovery. So the amount of money that you have to pay an attorney to get this, and if you're going to legal aid in New York is not that bad. It's just overcrowded. AT&B is worse, and look, when I worked in the public defender office, um, basically the city might pay them $50, $75 per case, no matter what the case is. So it's a volume thing for them. Their thing is to get as many cases as they can dismissed, but to get as many cases as they can make run their business. Right? It might be $100 a case. So these places work on volume of cases. Now, depending on when I worked in a public defender office, I the business that the company that I worked for, uh, they were really, really good advocates of people being falsely accused of crime. So they would go over and above. They had investigators, they had paralegals, they had social workers for uh, uh, to reduce the tension, to reduce the So the when I worked there, right, and then we had I was IT director, so um, we actually had a system to track cases, appearance, contacts um, of the occurrence, right? To take notes, to do collaborations on the cases, and we had certainly we had word processing equipment, we had scanners, we had OCRs, we had Xerox machine. So where I work with, we offered some of the best defense. So in that particular case, you could ask the attorney representing you in the office that I worked in for these services. But AT&B, he might have 100 cases, and he's not making a lot of money on these cases. So he's trying to do the least that he can, the quickest that he can. You're not asking for S. You might ask your attorney for something, but look, I mean, most of the time, look, they first time they meet you is in jail, right? The visits to Rikers Island or wherever is too and few while you're sitting and waiting for a case. Then you need your friends and your family to go to the offices, usually after 5 o'clock, because the attorneys come back from court and be in office at 5, and they're only there really after that till about 6 o'clock. In my office, maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, maybe 2 hours. But if you don't have no money, that's the whole problem with criminal justice in the United States. If you don't have no money, you're not getting any services.
All right. Well, thank you for doing what you did, Brother Reggie, because you probably saved someone's life, or I'm sure you saved someone from getting harmed. You definitely saved someone from getting their rights violated. But as you said, you don't recommend everyone to
No, I
do
don't
that.
reckon. No, you have to have been in an organization where you were trained to do uh, black community at work or being trained in some type of organization of know your rights, right? You would have to have been trained to be able to do this because you can only but go so far, right? My job was I saw what they was doing was illegal, so I was just pushing them, right? And then ultimately I succeeded in getting them off the block, right? So they ended up leaving, right? Because they knew that it was wrong. You could just tell the way that they left. They just said, you know what, we're gonna call it a night.
Right.
We're gonna call it a night. We didn't expect this. We didn't expect somebody black who actually and cares. Maybe some of these other YouTubers that make a lot of noise on the internet and basically um, benefit from our people being incarcerated, right? Because they just want the footage, the show on YouTube. They don't want to prevent.
But,
They
but
want the clicks and views and the cash apps on matters. Now, tonight, I don't think I got any cash apps, and that's okay. Um, it's not okay for me, but it's okay because what I was trying to do was to tell our people about their rights. So I invest in my own people. I'm not a good investor of myself, right? But I'm a and part of that was for many years I made a pretty large salary, and so sometimes I forget that I don't make the salary that I used to make, right? So I'm used to investing in our people, but right now YouTube is about volume, clicks and giggles.
you know,
It's about fake personalities, fake personalities who you never see in the street helping black folks, but they got all the answers. You know, they got all the uniforms, all the clothing, all the funny hats. They got all of that, but you won't see them actually doing anything to help black people on the whim. I just happen to be going to the store and I'm like, oh, what? Oh, this is a legal traffic stop right here. Oh, let me hang around here and see what they're doing.
but here's
I don't like yes.
but here's something very, very interesting that I can now relate to as a person who has now started going live and doing YouTube content. If you don't
Yes.
have at least 3 to 5, if you're like me, you try to go live every 1 to 2 days, and if you don't have at least 1 to 2 useless, I'm gonna curse you out, kiss my so and so videos, you don't get views. You have to go and do a useless commentary on a stupid video to start to talk about people's mothers and grandmothers. But when you're like you and I, who true would be trying to put forth something of intelligence, people don't watch. And this is why
No, they don't.
I have to thank you, because people like you who come on help me to get my content out more. And other
Yeah.
people who have come on, I like to thank all of those other people too, who have come on to try to give me content. But if I'm on by myself, nobody wants to hear it. But at the same time, the same people who don't want to hear it are critiquing these individuals, and what they're doing is they're using ChatGPT, thinking we're not smart enough to know the jargon and the language, to know that they not reading books, they're not doing research, and they're not quoting anything proper other than I did a ChatGPT search, and they want to argue with you after you put forth some sort of presentation. That even if they don't think so, you could stand in front of an expert in the classroom and present that to a professor, and he can critique that and say, this is what you did wrong, and give you advice. But they don't see that.
Yeah, it's entertainment. So if it's not about entertainment, then you can't get no views. So I said, Brother Reggie got arrested with question marks. Some people say, well, that's clickbait. But the fact of the matter is, I stopped other people from being arrested uh, by my actions. But I completely understand if you're not cursing somebody out, uh, or you're not showing naked body parts or implying that, and if you're not, if you're just a lot of people sit up here and just judge other black folks and do nothing and have no plans, don't know history, don't know culture. So that's my and your competition. My and your competition is a bunch of pop-up people, right? They're a bunch of pop-up people who can't go back to their communities, whose only weapon is a cell phone where they can do a live, right? And do people want to know real information?
It doesn't seem
No.
so. It doesn't seem that way.
So here goes Kent. So what does Kent got to say?
Yo. Yo.
We hear you. We hear you.
Hold on, let me fix my mic, man. I got a lot to say. Hold on. Yeah, you can hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so so Reggie, so at what point did you get arrested in the video, man?
Mm-hmm. I put question marks.
Why you did that? We was ready to come out there and riot for you, yo. We was about to go ahead out there and tear it down.
I don't believe you.
Why you don't believe me?
You're not my city.
I am in your city. I'm right down the street. I'm on 125th right now.
That's not where I live.
Oh, where you at?
Who lives on 125th Street? You can't afford 125th Street.
How you know that?
Because I know.
I got family out there right now.
They don't live on the 125th Street.
How you know?
Because it's a business corridor.
And we live upstairs in the top part of the building.
I don't know. I don't think that
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, I know you are. So what's the rest of the things that you have to say? 125th Street is price.
I'm trying to figure out, man, why you out here scamming, man?
How am I scamming?
You out here like asking people for lunch money. You got people thinking you got arrested. And all you really did was shout at the police. They didn't hear you. They wouldn't really, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't even paying you no attention, for real.
Well, they had a flashlight in my face all the time.
Okay, a flashlight. Really?
Yes, that's
so that's
impairing
something
my vision at nighttime.
So a flashlight in your face is really something serious? That's really like, that's what gets you going? What did you really stop?
No, that's part of the initial part of police conduct.
What did you really stop, though?
Going to see the right stuff. Ken, can I ask you a question?
No. What did you really stop?
Yeah, but can I ask you some questions?
No, I said, what did you really stop?
I stopped people from being illegally searched and detained. That's what I did.
And how did you do that?
You didn't watch my video.
I did watch your video. I saw you yell at the cops and say, "Hey, what are you guys doing there?" And they looked at you like
That's
they was
not
crazy.
all.
And then you
No,
stopped
they
the
knew
video.
I
And then you
wasn't
stopped
crazy.
the video. And you said,
No,
you can't do
that's
that.
not,
What are you doing? And they didn't
but
pay
that's
you.
not what
They didn't
people.
pay you any attention, bro.
Oh yes, they did. They ended up stopping their illegal traffic
But
stop.
you don't
and they
know
left.
why they stopped them people.
Oh, I do know why they. I know why they stopped those people. They weren't following the regulations, but you didn't listen to the regulations that they have to follow to stop, to do a illegal traffic stop. But you don't know this. Hey Ken, you got any college, by the way?
Yeah, I went to Spelman.
Spelman.
Graduated with all honors.
Oh, you did. Spelman,
No,
the girls' college.
I just messing with.
No, because you went to the females' college. Spelman.
No, I'm just messing with you. I just got to watch.
And you graduated with all honors. Yeah. What size skirt you wear?
No, I'm just messing with you, man. Don't do it.
I know.
Don't do it.
I mean, because in those places, there's a lot of transgender stuff. So when you was there, you shaved off your beard and mustache?
I'm just messing with you, man. I ain't messing. I ain't
Right, man. I got it. That's why I'm not being. I'm just listening.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening, Ken.
No, I didn't go to college. What's up?
Okay. So do you know anything about law?
I actually did go to college out there in South Carolina, but
Yeah, I know college is not for everybody, and it don't, and not, and listen, we have an enormous amount of people with high loans for going to college and can't get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So they got all these loans that they can't be forgiven, and I'm talking about $80,000, $100,000 loans, and and they don't have they can't get jobs to pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
So for some of them, it's the worst decision they ever made in their life,
You saying
right?
people, for people
And
that went to college? You saying for
oh
some people that's the worst decision they made in their life?
yes,
So what I would suggest, if that was the worst decision they made in their life, I would suggest for them to go and get a trade.
right. But the problem is that we're directed sometimes by our families to go to college, and then we find ourselves in curricular, medical, or engineering that has a very, very low graduation rate, because you have to be prepared to take to pass those exams.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school for electrical engineering at first, and I was advised to go into computer science because it was a new upcoming field. And I went to computer science, but I was one of those people who can get through the curriculum because uh, in high school I had advanced placement classes, so
Right.
chemistry, calculus. I already took calculus when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to college, even though it was weeding out, I was able to pass the curriculum of the what you call they're not remedial, but I would call them remedial before you get to your uh, you know to the courses in which you're going to matriculate in for your degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able, but I went to school with so many people and I saw them fail out. And they failed out during and that's why I come on YouTube, Kent, and I laugh at people to talk about science,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who, um, some of the people are going to serial killers. Some of the people are smart. They do know about
Yeah, we
science,
got
but
a,
a
we
lot
got a
of
lot of
people,
brilliant people on the pseudo killers all day. That's why it bothered me about a year or two ago when you went online and said the pseudo killers didn't know nothing. I think it was you
no, I
and
attacked the skin
Sarnetta.
map.
It was no, well, no, it wasn't even just that. It was you
It was
and
a skin map.
it was you and Smash and Sarnetta, and y'all tried to like clown us for the longest. It's been over the years, you know what I'm saying? And that was really the initial problem I had with you and Sarnetta especially. But and Smash and the rest of
Sarnetta
the
didn't attack the pseudo
oh yeah,
killers.
y'all definitely attacked the pseudo killers, bro. I remember when we first
No,
came. Hold on, I remember when we first came in the game, and we
y'all
was
came in his
actually
game.
no hold on.
He was the master of how can I say, you created a group of people, not one person, but he was a
Who
content
who?
king. Sarnetta.
Oh
Sarnetta was
no.
the king of this shit.
King of what? King of you?
He was the king.
He your king?
No, of the views.
Of the
Sarnetta
view?
was the
I
king.
mean, what 4,000 views? That's king to you?
No, Sarnetta wasn't getting 4,000 views at that. Sarnetta was getting 25, 30,000 views a show,
And that's
bro.
king to you?
Yeah, 25,000
So what
views
about the people
of
that's
a
getting?
show.
So what about the people that's getting 100,000
No,
views?
this comes later, and this comes with shorts and all that other stuff.
No, I'm saying, like, hold on. I'm saying, what about the people that getting 100,000 to 1,000,000 views? That's so twenty
Who? Give
thousand
me
views is king to
who?
you.
Who? Yeah, who's getting that in our
There's
community?
many people getting well in our community. What you mean our community? Because I don't claim the
Yeah,
same
name
community
person in
I
our
claim.
community that's getting that type
Our
of views.
community meaning who? What community you talking about?
Black folks.
Oh man, you got Neil deGrasse Tyson killing them with the views.
No, look who he is.
Right,
He
he's
gets
in
a
the
white
black. Is he
audience.
not in the black community?
No,
What? Huh?
no, he's not.
What?
Joey, I don't know why you're not being able to come on. I'm clicking you on. I don't know why you're not. No, he's not in our community.
Okay, so
People
let
not
me.
interested in.
So okay, hold on. So let me finish my point.
No, come on.
So my initial problem with y'all was when we first came on the scene talking that science. Of course, Unc brought us in to y'all side of whatever was going on because he already had something going on with y'all, but y'all hated on us, and I could never
Why? I
understand
was
why.
Unks.
Y'all was hating
I was
on
Ankh back. Don't you know I'm a friend of Ankh? What are you
yeah,
talking
sometimes
about?
I don't know. Cause
Well, why don't you ask Ankh?
no, I know I'm saying you seem like a friend, like sometimes you seem like a friend, but sometimes you seem like an enemy. I don't know.
If I agree intellectually, like with the skin map is only how can I say
I don't even
it
see.
agrees with it's a good measure of what is happening in Africa when it comes to the skin clines, but it is not the only factor, right? It is certainly not. There's genetics. There's admixture. So this just the skin is not the only fact. The skin map is a good predictability. Is predictable, but it's not the only factor. I know enough that because why I got university college, chemistry, biology, right, and I can understand the data. And before a lot of people was actually doing this work, I actually put research material into my work. So I have a right to disagree, right? I have a right to disagree with that. So I disagreed on that one thing, and it was y'all that attacked me.
What is it about the skin map that I forgot the sister name, uh, the lady that wrote the book. I'm about to look it up right now.
Yeah,
Um,
Nina.
who?
Yeah,
What's
right.
the name?
I forgot. She is a kind of a Russian name or something.
The white lady. You know what I'm talking
Nina.
about, right?
I know who you're talking
Right.
about. I think her name is
So
because I spoke to her husband.
and he was like,
I emailed her
so hold
husband.
on. So
That's
Rick
Brother
Kittles. So you
Reggie.
didn't see the documentary, or you didn't see when Rick Kittles and that lady talked about the skin map, and they actually broke it down to the data that they had.
I talked to her husband. Do you understand what I'm saying? I talked to her husband,
Hmm.
right, on email about his work.
And then he bring the
And
UV then he bring the UV ray
yeah,
data.
yeah, it's a good predictability.
Right.
And
So I
and
mean,
and I don't have a
so if you see all of that evidence, you see the husband with the UV ray data, you see her with the skin map data, and you see all of these things that
this is
align,
fun.
and
This is
you see Rick Kittles with his genetic data. Why would
did
you go against that, bro? I mean, I'm just saying.
because the author of the skin map was not talking about genetic data, but he said that it aligns
No, there was a
with the
hurt. No, you mean
predictability.
she.
No, you're talking about the this is the problem. You don't understand that they're a married couple and they have two
No,
different type of
I
work.
do understand that.
His work, he is the one who did the study, right? He was the one who did the actual study. She has her own work and her work combined with his work, but he actually did the skin map. She didn't do the skin map. He did.
What's the
You
name?
don't know that.
Nina what was the name? Nina
Yeah, I
Jabrowski?
said Nina. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Jabrowski. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. So
Do you understand what I'm saying? He did the study.
but did you see
Right?
hold on, but you saw the correlation between the skin map
This,
and the UV rays, and you saw that the darker skin was in the areas of more intense UV rays. You saw that, right?
okay, so here's the thing. So now we have the Nuri Rod study, and the Nuri Rod study shows a much darker North Africa than the skin map shows. So what do you have to say about that now?
I don't have nothing to say about that. I like to see that.
The Nuri Rod
Yeah, I
study?
like to
Did you
see that.
read it?
No, I like to see
Did
that.
you read?
I just said I like to see it.
Okay, ask Unc. Unc can send you the article.
Okay. So he agrees. So Unc agrees with you on that.
Um, he don't have to agree with me. We have the evidence in front of us. He ain't got to agree with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
What do you think?
So I
You
would
think
say
I'm
let's.
under?
So I would.
Unc is my dude, but you think I'm under
And
Unc?
no, I'm not.
I got a
You
goddamn
told me.
goddamn
I'm saying you
degree.
brought his name up. You told me to ask Unc. So I'm
but
saying,
let
Yeah,
does he
but I
agree
said
with you on
yeah because you are
that? You brought his name up. I ain't bring his
can I
name up.
pose
right, but you are look. It's Unc will agree that is whatever the data says by the experts.
Exactly. I would agree with whatever the experts, whatever the data shows. It doesn't even matter
Okay.
whatever the data shows.
But can I
At one point I seen you go against the data though, and that's where I was like, hold on,
No, I
Reggie
didn't go against the
scamming.
data. I know more. I didn't go
Nah,
against the
cause you brought
data.
up some old different map. You brought up a whole nother map
can
that
I
ain't had nothing to do with no
Yeah,
evidence.
because I told you how they play. Oh, wait. First of all, I'm gonna allow Joey to say something because I think he wants to say
let
something
me
to you.
pose a question. When we're having this discussion pertaining to Egypt and we're talking about skin color, when we're looking at the culture, is not simpler than that. Me now?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
You hearing me? Ah,
Yes.
shit. I went out.
Yo, we hear you, yo. Like, what are you talking about? We hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. He having a
Okay.
connection
So
there.
here's the thing: is now Ken, you're talking to somebody with a college education,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Somebody who has uh, been who've had some of the greatest mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who can actually write a
Right. So you
paper, a
shouldn't make
journal,
no mistakes then. So you shouldn't make the same mistakes that the pseudos is making, right?
because I'm not a pseudo.
Not right. So you shouldn't be making. So being that you have the
But
education
wait,
that you
but
have, you shouldn't be making the
yeah,
same mistakes that the pseudos is making. Correct?
because I
Well,
don't.
we agree.
Because I don't make those
Oh,
mistakes.
okay. So when it comes to the skin map, you wouldn't be pulling up a pseudo map comparing that to the skin map. I I'm
What I
not.
would
I don't
do,
even remember what the name of the map was that you pulled that day, and we can go back and get it. I get it from I know
Ken,
what's the name? Remember the
Ken,
show?
you at this particular point, right?
Huh?
You're really not being very specific. You're
I am.
forgetful. You're bringing
You
up stuff
remember?
from
No,
the past.
you remember because you brought up the map.
Yeah,
So if we being honest, then you ain't gonna pull that on me.
I'm always
So
honest. That's my
what was the name of
problem
that
with you
map that you
people.
pulled up?
You don't remember it, so why should I produce it?
Because so we ain't gonna be honest now. So we gonna be disingenuous.
No,
If
you're not giving me anything. You're not getting
Mhm.
anything to talk about. You don't know. You're looking for something to say,
I'm
Ken.
looking for something to say.
Yes, you're looking for something to say. What have you said concrete tonight?
As far as what? As it pertains to what?
That's what I'm talking
Your
about.
support of Bambada.
This is Abed and Costello. Who's on
As
first?
far
I don't know who's on
as
second.
far as your support of Bambada when he was known to be raping children.
I didn't support
You
Bambaataa.
didn't.
No, I didn't support Bambaataa.
So you didn't
I
say
told you about what was going. I told you what was going on in the Bronx.
somebody got noise in it. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that's Joy.
Okay.
That I didn't. I told you what was going on in the Bronx. You won't. You won't. Here's the thing: is I
I
could talk to Poppy.
but somebody so
I
hold
could.
on.
I could talk to. I could talk to. I could talk to the Bronx. That's my neighborhood. You can't.
Hold on, but did you do did you
I'm not gonna run around in the
so
Bronx
hold on,
talking about things that I don't
that
know.
same energy that you had when those police just a few minutes ago when you showed us all the energy you had for the police out there in New York, did you have that same energy with Bambada?
Um, I didn't have that same energy with Bambata in the sense that in this particular case, the people that Bambata was dealing with, which you don't know, is most of that was consensual relationships. See, Ron Savage, I was in his second and third grade class, maybe his fourth grade class, right? We were in the same class. I grew up with Ron Savage. Do you know him? I know him.
No.
I know that most of the people that Bam had contact with were people who hung around Bam because he was in the music business. He was one of the first in my communities to go into the business. Now, what he did personally with these people, what he did personally with these people, most of what he did that I knew about growing up was consensual. They hung around Bam, they knew who Bam was, they knew what Bam wanted, right? And most of them, watch this, they weren't children.
But when you heard about the children is what I'm asking,
What children?
any of the children that because it was known that he messed with children, right? Correct?
No. What children? The only time that I ever heard uh
Or
about
minors.
minors was when Hassan Campbell. I never knew Hassan Campbell's story growing up. I didn't know Hassan Campbell growing up. I'm 60 years old. I didn't know him. Ron, I knew, but Ron, we told him not to go.
What was that you? Because you said something in a video them about him
Well,
taking
tell me what I said.
the cookies. What was you meaning by that?
Say that again. I'm
You
not
said
so
something
sure
about
what you said.
they was giving up the cookies.
I didn't say it like that.
Come on, Reggie. I gotta pull it up. You said something
Yeah, you
about
got it.
you said something about
If
Bambada
somebody
give.
in the system,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody in the system puts candy on your bed and you eat that candy and you're in the system, that person is going to want that candy back. He's going to, and he want, and especially in prison, he's going to want that candy back. He doesn't want the physical candy back, but he wants that digested candy, right?
Right.
So if you know somebody who's a who's involved in those type of activities, right, and you eat that person's candy, right, they're going to want that candy back.
Right. So if you know that there's a predator in your neighborhood that does this, what I'm asking is that same energy
Bam
that
wasn't. I
hold
didn't
on.
know that Bam was a predator. I didn't know that Bam was a per se a
That
predator.
ain't a predator?
But nah, I didn't know that Bam was a predator. Till I knew he had relationships with he had a relationship with uh, how can I say, he might have been bisexual, right, or maybe homosexual, but
And
I don't know. I didn't.
y'all was still rocking with him even though y'all knew he was bisexual and all that?
Shit, my whole neighborhood people is coming back and forth from prison. What are you freaking talking about, man? I'm from Castle Hill Projects, man. People was going, man, people was going back and forth to prison, man, and negotiating man. So, man, yeah, like you,
But I'm saying the rumblings,
where the hell you grew up
but
at?
I'm saying, hold on, I'm saying the rumblings was out there.
No. If anybody knows the rumblings were not out there, it was close quarters. What are you talking about? You know where you learned this shit
I
from?
thought you
You
was
learned
his
this shit
right.
from gossip and
Right
YouTube.
hand. I thought you was his right hand man.
Who what? Who's right hand
You was
man?
by the right hand man, wasn't you?
Okay, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Oh
I'm gonna get
wow,
you.
that's how we doing
Yeah, you gotta go. How I gotta figure out how to get you out of here.
That's how you gonna do me,
You out of
Reggie? I
here.
thought we was cool.
No, we ain't cool. We ain't fucking cool. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Hold on.
You out of here. You violating. Bye. Okay, so took me a long time. So that's a professional troll. Person like him could not live in my neighborhood, right? Simply in my old neighborhood, right? Some of the stuff is your business. Some of the stuff is not in your business. The difference between police are being portrayed as if they are doing justice, right? Street business is street business, right? Now, there are there is some street business that you should step to. Certainly, people who are messing with young men and young women, right? You should actually deal with that. But if you don't have the accusations at that particular time, right? And if you do, right, you don't run your mouth to those people. There's different type of actions that you take, right? And but at the same time, if you look at the story, um, look, man, I grew up in a time period where there was called something called freaky deaky. A whole bunch of menages, whole bunch of prostitutes, whole bunch of a lot of drug money, right? So you pick and choose because you want to survive. In my neighborhood, you get killed. Not only will you get killed, your whole family can get killed. So I don't know what this dude is talking about. It's just survival in the jungle. And so, but Bam, what most of the people that dealt with Bam, it was consensual. You may not like what it was, but it was consensual. Ron Savage will tell you today, Bam never knew his age, right? So when he was hanging out and going to the clubs with Bam, he had a fake ID. He shouldn't have been in those clubs. but he faked his ID to be with adults during a wild time in New York City, right? Where there were all type of clubs, right? Lounges and clubs that do crazy things. But he wanted to be part of the music industry, and so he faked his age, right? And then he got caught up, and so Bam treated him like an adult. Who's this? Patah? Which Patah?
That's your boy,
Who's my boy?
your home
Which
boy, your man, your brother. Shazmoo, Patah Amun.
Okay, you okay? Peace, brother. How you doing, Shesmu?
I'm good. I'm good.
My brother.
Is this only a?
No.
Oh, okay. So I got a Nile Valley question.
Sure.
All right. So Gam I-10, right? You follow? You heard me?
Yeah, you gotta show me the glyph. I don't know. I gotta read the glyph. I don't
Pull up the
you know
map. Pull up the no map.
you want me to pull up the no map.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me what region, the hieroglyphic map? What map?
Yeah. The same map we had on Smasher's channel. And the reason I'm just bringing it up because I got one more question about it. And I know it's getting late.
No, it's not just getting late. I was talking about
The
police
again.
uh traffic stops and stuff like that. And so let me just give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a second. So I'm gonna pull up the hieroglyphic map. And what is it, upper or
It's
lower?
the
Is it upper or lower?
it's in Nubia.
It's in
It's the
it's in
it's at about the fourth cataract.
fourth cataract.
Yeah.
The fourth cataract. Okay, one second. Let me pull this up.
It's right above Napata.
Okay, so let's pull this up. Um, okay, okay, okay. Got to go down. Okay, so all right, so
So we came
okay,
to the conclusion that Gam I-10 would be.
yeah. Show me where it is.
Oh, my bad. It's down there below Kerma. It's Kawa.
Yeah.
Kawa. See Kawa. And you see the Metanetra.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're back again. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So this is what you're talking about
Yes.
right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What you talking about? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So Gam I-10, and you know when they said they messed up with the Gamet, and I said found land, and they was okay, found sun, the I-10, right? So could that possibly have been when they found gold? You know, at that particular area, that location they found gold because the sun or I-10, the color of gold. Or do we want to say something more philosophical, like when Akhenaten was the I guess the Nisubiti of Kemet. That's when they became familiar with that location.
Okay. Well. Okay. So let's think of it this way, right? Let's think of it this way because it has Aten in it, and because it's in Nubia, you're looking at Egyptianized territories of Nubia. So this is not their indigenous word, but what we find is during the Hatshepsut period, right? They find themselves in Punt, and then they find themselves in the Sudan. Now the Gemet, or Gemet Gim Aten, right? This word doesn't necessarily always means found. It also means created, creation, a creator, right?
Okay.
So it could be the creation of Aten. Um, so creation of, now this is interesting, the creation of Aten Ra, right? because the Aten, of course, Aten Ra, Aten is during the Agnan period. Aten Ra is when they fuse it during the later periods of Tutankhamun uh, and I and uh, the Horemheb, I think Horemheb. Uh, yeah. So this is the fusion. So this is when each Egyptianized, Egypt comes in, Egyptianizes the area, right? And they have pretty good relationships at this time. But now, as far as finding gold, um, you have to show me some inscription.
Mm.
So all I know is these are all these terms right here, or terms that Egyptians came in and put in for their own, in this particular colonial or imperialistic functions, right? Because they're in someone else's territory.
Well, do you think we have an older name for that particular location?
Not in writing. That's the problem. Not in writing, because the Nubian, the Nahesi writing,
The
uh,
flood.
either we don't know. They have their own languages, and those languages are not necessarily recorded in writing. So we're looking at Egyptianized, or the Egyptians or the ancient Egyptians telling the story of another location. And what they're coming in is they're renaming things based on their belief system and their political situation.
Mm.
So they name all these sections. So these are not indigenous names uh, to it. But if you, so if I wanted to say, uh, I will use, I think I can use ChatGPT and I could find out. And I thought that would be something that you would do. Um, let's see if this comes up, and then I would look at um, what does in ancient Egyptian literature, um, Gim, let's get the spelling of this. Gimet means um, in Nubia, and it will say, okay, in ancient texts, the Gemet sometimes refers to a connection with Nubia and often refers to women or wives, specifically foreign or Nubian women. And so Gemet itself in Egyptian would mean woman or wife, but in the context of Nubia, it also denotes Nubia women. So let's just
What
see.
what about
Uh,
what about Gem?
but I'm not finished with that, because then I want to say it's Gim Aten.
Right.
So let's try to say Gemet in the context of Gim Aten. What does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that, well, great. Now you've mentioned Gim Aten. It points to a different important phrase, right?
What is
To find, to discover, or to perceive, right?
that?
Aten. So Gim Aten might mean finding Aten, right? Or discovering Aten,
And what is
right?
and what how, does it go into what Aten is? What else what other things that Aten can be described as?
Well, in this particular case, Aten is just is the solar disk, and it's the solar disk and it's a deity. So in this case, it's Aten, the most likely Aten, who is the solar deity. Uh, but so, what are you trying to say it means?
I'm not trying to say it means anything. Well, I guess I'm alluding to I'm thinking, and I'm not saying it means anything, but I'm just thinking, would it be possible that since gold uh, is the color of the sun and maybe possibly could symbolize Aten?
Well, My only problem, is so if I go and we do a Google search on Aten, maybe Wikipedia, we're gonna see that uh, it has human qualities. Aten, ancient Egypt, Wikipedia, and Aten has hands, and so the rays of Aten are mostly or hands. And so, well, okay, so here's Aten. So here's Aten, right? The solar disk, and he has hands. So it has some type of human cosmic characteristic,
Mm.
right? So, um, uh, um, uh, I don't think there's anything about Aten that they would use gold for the cult to kind of is the best representative of Aten, but that's only as a representative. They would find some type of quality that they could mimic to let people know in the rich sectors, right? I mean, the royal sectors that Aten, gold is is the best reflector of the sun that gives it the color.
Okay.
But I don't think it has anything to do with gold. And even if it has something to do with gold, that would just be an interest. This name is much later in the history. It's during the 18th dynasty.
Okay.
That's when they uh, that's when they let's go back over here to Gem So the only thing is I would do is uh, I would ask the uh, Chat GPT if I can get back to it. There it was. If I can ask Chat GPT is when did this name occur? So when was the region Gem Eaton named? And that would because it's not an ancient it's an ancient name, but not an ancient name in this Gem. Okay, I'm talking about in Egypt.
I got
Gem 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 Eaton uh, in ancient. Sorry,
and then after this one I got one more and then that's it. I'm done.
Egypt named. Uh, okay, so I'm just doing. This is not. How can I say? This time period is not my best uh, uh, time period
We,
because I don't focus on any of this religious stuff that's going on.
we just build.
I just found and associated with Akhenaten, the city founded by Pharaoh Akhenaten, formerly Amenhotep IV. When was it named? Well, it dates to the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten around year 4 to 6 of his reign. So that's what I mean. It's not ancient, ancient. It's in the time period of the Middle Kingdom. I mean, sorry, in the New Kingdom.
Okay. All right.
And so whatever the Nubian name was, they discarded it and they put in their own name.
Gotcha. All right, I got one more. Scroll up to on the same map. Scroll up to Nebta Playa, and I want you to
Nabta
uh
It's Nabta and that's a European name.
oh,
That's not an ancient name at all. Nabta doesn't have. It would be in the territories of the Tamhu, the Tamhu, in the Western Desert. So the question would be
what
the question here would be what did
what does Nab Ta mean? If that's possibly a
that's not an Egyptian name. This is a this is a this is a this is a European construct. It has nothing to do with ancient Egypt. If you want to know what ancient Egyptians would call it, right? You would say the area called Nabta Playa, right?
okay.
What did the ancient Egyptians call these people? And I suspect it would be the Tamhu. Okay. Okay. So now, okay. So
I think it would be the Tom.
people, the groups of people in this area would be the Tamho,
Oh,
which I said, the Tejimu, the Tamho,
I-
the Nahesi, the Setui, and the and these are desert people. But the desert people that I would believe that they're talking about would be the Tamil, which Jabari says is the white man, but these are the Libyan people,
but
right? In the Western Desert, because that's where Nabta is in the Western Desert.
but it did say Setians and Nubians. Oh no,
Yes,
Setians and Nahesi.
yeah, because these are the Setuia desert dwellers, so it could be it's generic nomads. So it's more of a generic nomad. The Setu or nomads could possibly in the eastern and western desert, but they are. But if you want to be more specific, it would be in this area, which is the Libyan people, because that's closer to Libya.
Not Nabta is closer to Libya.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
look at the known map again.
We can what we can do. Okay, so why don't we just do this,
No,
right?
no, no. Look at the known map real quick, because this Nabta is kind of west and lower
It's
than Thebes.
it's west. It's in the western desert.
But
It
it's
Napta Napta Playa Napta Playa is in the western desert of where?
so
Right?
the known map incorrect.
Huh? Say
The
what?
known map.
You're looking at a constructed known map, which is not a real map, right? So it's in the western desert of Egypt. It's not a gnome. It's outside of what you call
Didn't
Egypt.
say it was a known,
It's in,
but the Nabta
okay,
is
so
located
now we got to look at a real map.
on the map.
Okay, so you're looking at now we got to look at a real map. So I'm sorry. So let me just do this, get rid of this, and put here, right, Napta Playa, right,
Mhm.
uh, map.
I said
Okay.
we need to get the
So location of Napta Playa. Let's go visit.
longitude and latitude. Get the
Well, you should, look, it'd have been helpful if you would have done that. Did you do it?
I haven't, not yet.
Okay, so don't be looking at a construct map of where they try to put locations. Look at a real map. Okay, so here it goes. So here is closest to a real map. So what I'm trying to say is Napa Playa, right? Here's Lake Nasir, so it's in the western desert, right? And if you want to look at the so let's look at another map.
But
So we know it's in the western desert. It's outside of Egypt, right? Here's Aswan. Egypt stops here, right? It has nothing to do with Egypt. It's in the western desert, right? It has nothing to do with Egypt. Egypt stops at the first cataract, right? Then so we're in a whole nother area. So do you understand? Like the Egyptians, maybe Harkuf and his voyage to Yam and stuff like that. He crossed over there, but the Egyptians were not concerned with those people. This was in the Nubia territory. This was in their enemy territory when they were enemies. They didn't go over there. They weren't welcome over there. Stay your ass in Egypt. Let's just see another map. Okay, let's see if Napa Playa is in this map right here. So let's visit this map. So the Egyptians, a lot of people are real Egyptian centric. Like at some point, when it goes into other areas, the Egyptians are naming places that they have no, it's not their territory. But oh no, okay, Atlantopedia. I got to get out of here. I see. I smell pseudo. So I'm sorry about that source. I didn't. I just clicked on it because I was looking for a map, but I don't want to be nowhere near no Atlantopedia. Joining the dots. Nope, out of here. So I gotta find another map. Oh no, that's Atlantopedia. Gotta go find a real map. I can't be in no pseudo map called Atlantopedia. Oh shit. I didn't know they had Atlantopedia. Oh my goodness. uh who is uh Sapata joined the chat?
Hey, Reggie, you faded out
Yes.
for like 2 minutes.
Okay, that was the
Okay,
internet.
so because I tried to keep it going while you faded to black.
How'd you try to keep it going?
Oh, because I'm familiar with your, you know, you would want me to hang up.
No, I don't want you to hang up per se, but my point is that Anaptapli got nothing to do with Egypt. It has something to do with pre-dynastic Egypt, but it ain't got nothing to do with Egypt.
Okay,
It has nothing at all to do with Egypt. Those are the Tomhu people.
okay.
So if there's a word called Noptoplaya, right? If there's a word called Noptoplaya, uh, that's a fact. That's a new
Is
term.
there a word?
Here it goes right here. It's Aswan. It's Aswan. Noptoplaya is in the
Could there
Western
be? Is there a
Desert.
word in in the hieroglyphs neb ta?
Well, yes, but that's not necessarily a location. Neptile would be Lord of the land, right? Let's try this one over here, cattle domestication. So let's go and see if I can see it over here. But what I'm trying to say is that even if the Egyptians named it, that's not in their territories. That's not in Tawi. That's not in their territories. So I wouldn't expect the ancient Egyptians to know too much about the goddamn uh, about this area because they're fighting with these people, right? So again, Egypt, Egypt, what we call Egypt, ends over cargo aces, ends over here. All of this stuff below it, it ain't their territory, right? So so these groups of people, the Chadian, the Chad groups, you have the Hadi the okay, you have the Yellow Nile, right? The Wadi War, all of that goes into this area right here. Nafta Playa is out here. They do contribute. These are groups of people from the Green Sahara. They come down and they find themselves in this territory that would later be Nubia and Sudan in this particular period. But it has absolutely nothing to do with Egypt. Tawi civilization, Shmai Tawi, right? Kemet has nothing to do with it. They don't know these people. These people are not welcomed. Um, but we do know that Mentuhotep the second, he went through these areas to go to Chad, right? Uh, he traveled through these areas, or his scouts traveled through these areas to Chad, right?
I'm listening.
So it has nothing, not the play has nothing really to do with Egypt. These are these groups of people. So help me understand what you are asking.
Hmm. Well, I was going to ask if what ChatGPT said about neb ta.
But what does Neptah have to do with a fabricated? Oh, okay, so I think this is the problem. You're looking at a Noptoplaya, which is the word Noptoplaya derives from where? The word not. You're trying to make a word, an
Well,
Egyptian
let's
word.
ask ChatGPT where does it derive from? Hopefully, it won't just
Yeah.
say from that.
Well, there's no hope, and let's just see what it says. Okay. All right. So the name Noptoplaya is a modern archaeological term, not an ancient one. It combines words from Arabic and Spanish geological terminology rather than ancient Egyptian. So Arabic, word napta is an Arabic word meaning little
Right, and
plant or
playa
plant
is
growth.
desert, which is Spanish. I know playa. I know the playa word.
So it got nothing to do with Egypt. So let's not make it
Well,
an Egyptian
nepta
word.
would be a Afro-Asiatic word, though.
But this is nabta, not
Okay,
nebta.
take the vowels out.
Do you understand that nabta is an Arabic word? So why are we gonna do? Why are we gonna play gymnastics? It's not an African word. It's Arabic. Here, Arabic, nabta, meaning little plant. So because the Arabs are in there at this particular period, they name places with Arabic names. So we're not going to take an Arabic name and look for an ancient
Okay,
source
does
for
the
it.
area have an ancient name, or is it just desert?
Uh, it has a people group, the Tamil people, the Tamu people. It has and it has what the ancient Egyptians say about the Tamil groups of people, right? So if I search here, if I did a search on the Tamil or the the Tamil groups, so I'm not taking words, English and Spanish and words. I'm not taking them and making them ancient Egyptian words. Google. Uh,
So, what are the
uh,
coordinates of Nopta? What is the coordinates of that location?
well, how you can look it up. How does that
No,
help?
I'm just trying to.
Now we know that it got nothing to do with
Tamu,
Egypt.
specifically to say that that's the Tamu location, I find that hard
Why?
because of where it's located. I mean, I understand it's in the Western Desert, but
It's not only in the Western Desert. It's not even in
I
Egypt.
understand. No, nor is the Green Sahara.
Right. Okay. So the Tamil tribes of ancient Libya. That's why I said they are. This is the Libyan groups of people, and it says the following notes prepared by
Now,
Tamhu
now you're
Temahu
moving
may serve.
around, or you going from
I
you
am
going straight to your
not.
point as far as Tamu and going to Libya. Look.
It is because those are the people. Those are the people that the ancient Egyptians described in that
Oh,
area.
really? And Knob to Playa.
Really, they are part of the group of people in the Western Desert.
Also, so the bull culture that came from the Green Sahara. So
Mhm.
those were Tamu.
Some yes, it went into it's an African phenomena. It goes all we can look at I can find the cattle map. I can find all the places. I can find all the places where there was cattle.
So
So let's go here.
those Western Desert people that came into the Nile Valley were Libyans.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's the cattle culture that you always talk about with the black ram and the
They were before ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt borrowed concepts from pre-dynastic groups of people. So
Tamu. I thought
bookmark and
those
let's
were
let's see.
people of time. I know they were Western Desert, but they ended up being in the in Lower Nubia and Upper
Yeah.
Egypt. I thought those were the Tashimau.
No, that's in Egypt. These groups are not in Egypt. These groups are below Egypt in
So
Nubia.
I just find it
These groups,
interesting that the archaeological evidence they always look at is Nabta Playa, Nakata,
where's my
and
calendar?
Nakata 1, 2, and 3,
Right, those are in Egypt.
Napata culture. Those three they look at as ancient um, peopling places.
Right, they are. Okay, so here's a cattle map. So when cat here's a, so Africans had an indigenous cattle themselves, right? Ox, right? So here's the Wadi Hohor. See the Wadi
What
Hohor,
is a Y
right?
T? Okay, but the
Wadi.
D and T can be in language.
It's not an Egyptian word. It's a kind of like, I think
It's an
it's a
Afro-Asiatic word.
I think, okay. So what a wadi is, a dry bed that was formerly a
Mm.
river, a basin that either is a tributary of
You
the
rem-
Nile or is created by rain going down the hills
you
and forming
you
a kind
remember
of a
on the
riverbed.
no map where it said Y T or Watt that said Nubian?
Right, but this is a modern word. I'm not going to take a modern word and say that the modern word connects to an ancient word, right? I can't do that, right? I can't take a modern word, right, and say that it connects to a directly
So
to an ancient
linguistics.
word.
So you're saying Wadi is a modern word? How, how modern?
Yeah, Arab, Arab. We can look it up,
So
but it's modern, just like we looked at Napta. We looked at, it's a modern geographical term. These are modern geographical terms that describes, what it does is it describes attributes of land, and that's in a modern geographical sense. The ancient Egyptians would never call something a wadi. What they might call it something like a kasut, a kind of a valley, right? A valley surrounded by hills. That would be from the ancient Egyptian kind of language, right? A type of valley, right? And where they would say the desert people, and they would say you would see those kind of like that mountainous area. But here is where this is the cattle map. So over here, Egypt is all the way freaking up here. This is Egypt. All of this stuff right here, Egyptians don't know Jack Daniels about it until they follow the Wadi Howar and they go into Chad, and Mentuhotep uh, has an inscription here. But he went down and uh, he either followed from his area down here and connected to the Wadi Howar. So here's a cattle
okay.
map.
So you
So this
see
is a cattle
where
map. Yeah.
right above, see where Sudan, the word Sudan is, right below Egypt.
Yes.
And then what
Yes.
is that right
Uh-huh.
below the word Sudan? In bold, what is that word right there? I can't see it.
What?
Is that what that
Salima?
says? Can you put your cursor? I'm looking at it from television, but can you put your cursor on? Is that Salima? Okay,
Yeah, this
that
is
looks
Salima.
about where Noctiplaya.
No, not the playa is further down. Dongala. Let's see. Chad, Sudan. Wadi. Let me just maybe go a little bit lower. That's not where not the playa is.
Can you
Let's just
put
see
that
that.
map and the no map up against each other?
I can't. I could. I mean, that's
No,
a lot of work.
no, no.
Wait, hold on. First of all,
IT.
that's a lot of work for a point that I don't. That I
Let's look at the
don't.
cataract.
What I
Okay,
do know.
can you in your mind can you show me? Oh, there's a cataract right there. Let's show it. There's four, right? And I see
Yeah, these are the
two.
cataracts right here.
I see two,
4, 5,
right?
right.
Now, if you go back to the
So,
no map
so,
and see where two is,
but it's
where
not
I
in.
see Salima, if two in Salima and two in Noptoplaya coincide, then that's where about the same spot as Noptoplaya.
Yeah. Okay. So, good brother. My point is that not the playa is a modern geographical term. The ancient Egyptians would have called those people the Tamil groups of people, which would have been what modern people say, or people from Libya, right? North North Africans, not in the modern sense of Libya, but in the ancient sense of Libya. This would be places where you would find the Libyan mummy and things like that, right? In this particular area,
Wow.
right? So Nabta Playa has no the word has no ancient
It just to
anything.
me that just seems like the Nahesi area.
There are Nahesh in the area, right, on one side, and then on the other side, the Nahesh or groups of people or Nilotic people. They hang around the Nile. These are the desert people. These are the desert people and the Wadi people and the Oasis people. They
But do
hang
you think
around
that
here.
that area, Salima, was always desert,
No, of
or
course not.
seven, or
Of course not.
six, or five, or four?
No, it wasn't always desert, but the time, the in this particular time period, uh, uh, I think there's more savanna in this time period before it dries up in about 3,500. It dries up in about
Hmm.
3,500. But my point of it is, please don't take ancient words and try to and take modern words and try to necessarily correlate them as
I mean,
to
I
be
agree,
ancient
but
words.
what is
Just
the
because
study
they
of
sound
linguistics?
um, uh, uh, it follows. It has
Exactly,
rules.
but
So, what are the rules are you using
it's like
linguistics? What rules are you using?
it's
It
just
sounds
like
like
the word "wa" t. Um, the "wa" is there, and D, I believe, can uh
in the English language we have fill. We have fill. We have about four fills. We have one that you feel something, right? When I mean feel something, you feel a hand or a skin or a surface. Then we have feel that you fill a glass with, right? Then we have feel, which is emotion. And then we have Phil, which is a name, the person whose
but
name is Phil.
that's
They got nothing to
all the
do
same.
with linguistic rules. Then you would have to you would you we what you're asking me to do is I am not the playa. I can understand it's a geographical area, and the name not the playa would not have been the name of the ancient people.
I agree with that 100%. Especially the
Okay,
playa part. Definitely not.
and the not apply, and the not
I'm
apply.
not so sure.
Okay, then you know what I would say
Just
this.
like Kerma. Um,
Karma is a modern name. It's
I
not an
agree.
ancient name.
I agree.
I mean, these are names like Nubia and Karma,
Well,
right? That they
Nubia, we're saying Neb for gold.
Nub.
All I know is the N and B. Whether it's the whatever vowel you want to put in there.
Yeah, but it was a modern construct to confuse people because there was two new bits. There was it's not just one place; it's actually two places, right? And so it's not one place; it's two places. It's two towns. There's two towns, and so the Egyptologist came and says, you know what? What we're gonna do is combine it, and we're gonna make it Nubia. We're gonna do the Greek Ea, right? So Ea is anytime you see Ea in what happens is Ea is kind of like a kind of a Greek term for like people in place. Kimia, for example, Kimia. That's so they're going to use that nomenclature to try to be slick. So they created a place people called Nubia, and they made a based on this geographical group. The proper name would have been Nahes, and then it's different groups in Nahes. So when you actually when you write and you present and you uh, like when I'm talking to people on YouTube, generally about stuff, I never see their writing. I hear a lot of talking. I like to see an abstract, right, and some writing with some sources. And writing is really hard because when you're writing a paper on a subject, every two sentences you or three sentences you're gonna have to footnote or
Right, right.
cite what you're talking about. And most people just go on and on and on and on without even a clue of without a
Me
clue.
personally, as a bachelor person with a bachelor's degree and three classes plus argument thesis for my master's degree. I never published anything, but I did write a
Mhm.
lot of papers to get through school, through upper or through higher education, and
Yeah.
had to work site and use MLA and older APA, and I went through as being almost 60 years old. You know, uh,
Okay. That's my age too. So what okay. So here's the NAPTA. Here's the sorry. This is I was searching down here, but here's NAPTA right here. Wadi Halfa and NAPTA is over here, and Bir Kasiba is over here. So this is and then
and all in the
Sahara.
same
The-
bovine map that you had up before. I'm not seeing.
yeah, it's this
Oh,
it's you're not
show it
seeing it.
again. I didn't see your cursor. I was my eyes.
It's the top bull to the right.
Okay, top bowl to the right. So the top bowl to the right is what?
Yeah. The is NAPTA is where NAPTA is
Oh,
Bir Kasiba. This is the
so it's
area
in
right
Egypt,
here.
or what you would call
This is
Egypt. I call it Kemet, but it's in upper Kemet.
it's in yes, but it's in the Western Desert. It's far from it. It's in the
Mm,
Western Desert,
okay.
right? So
I stand
um
corrected. It's not in
yeah,
It's not near Salima.
yeah, it's over here. So it's going down to it's
So it's
off the
near Komombo
uh, second cataract. Here's
or
Selima right
Nebit
here.
or Elephantini
Okay.
or something.
Yeah, it's in yes. So, but it's not in what you call classical ancient Egyptian territory. It's not there.
So it's in the right time.
Yeah, it's it's in another culture. Um, uh, you're looking at anywhere between over here, where you're looking at its culture, where actually in Nubia became was the king was part of the was the king of cattle, right? And they have cattle cultures. They steal each other's cattle. Cattle is a very important part of their. But this is not Egyptian. None of this got anything to do with goddamn Egypt. So we're not going to use Neb. We're not going to use any of that. That this is another culture with a modern language, and these are uh, the Tamhu people.
So those Kemetu names with Neb, uh, Nebit and Nebwet, and
Yeah, that's Egyptian. Okay, that's Egyptian nomenclature.
okay, okay.
That ain't got nothing to do. And so Egyptian and Nubian they combine when Egypt is in that area. Let me just check something. When Egypt is on, just see when Egypt is in that area, they reform themselves, right? They reform, but in the Old Kingdom and stuff, they didn't know that. They didn't know that. And if I pull up an Old Kingdom map, maybe I pull up I lost it, but if I pull up an Old Kingdom map, they tell you what's in
And
the Old Kingdom.
what
But
about Nebtis? Like the Lordess, the queen, maybe a queen, maybe a upper queen ruled that area.
okay. Anything is possible, but it's not relevant. But
of the land.
I don't know where you are uh, financially, and
I'm a,
financially, it's difficult for all of us. But have you ever considered taking Dr. Ricketti's class
I
on Meta Nature, a formal
considered it.
class? Yeah, learn, I mean, a formal class. What I find is that a lot of people, one is okay. Smash is very different. He did a lot of self study and he came out right. A lot of people do self study. They don't come
Mm.
out too well. Like so what happens is you take a formal class by some you take a formal class, and then what you do is then you can do self study, but you do definitely need to know some of the basics of the medu nature, of how it the how do you source sounds, and how do you look up sounds through dictionaries, and what dictionaries, for example, what dictionaries do you use?
All of them.
Which are all of them?
Oh, Gardner, uh, which is probably one of the main.
Gardner is a grammar
Uh,
book for the most
and
part. So, give me a dictionary.
what is his name? I'm getting old, my brain and memory.
Yeah.
I'm not looking it up. I'm
Okay.
laying down, got the phone to my head. What
No, I
reading?
understand. I understand.
Uh,
All right.
it's like four. Let
So,
me see. Gardner.
Gardner is a
Oh,
grammar book. It has limited vocabulary for its
one's what a
exercises.
D.
So,
Uh,
there is
Faulkner.
Faulkner's dictionary. There
Uh,
is Vigus
yeah, those. All.
dictionary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There is Budge's
yeah. And
dictionary. There is the
all of them.
Waterbull.
All of them.
Okay, so the problem is when you're using all of them, sometimes they say different things. Some are Middle Egyptian
Right.
dictionaries. Middle Egyptian dictionaries don't do too well with Late Egyptian, nor does it necessarily do well with Old Kingdom, right? So that's the problem. You're using, if you're trying to use Middle Egyptian and you're trying to look at anything Late Egyptian, it gets really difficult to source words. And if you're looking at Old Kingdom don't have a lot of classifiers, so it gets very difficult, right? It because those are changes in languages. I'm not even just
We
talking
got.
about grammar. So the thing about, what time is it? 12:44. So the thing about it is it's um you can't do. Here's the thing is you can't do everything in one meta class. So if you take a meta class and they're teaching Middle Egyptian, well, wow, you're gonna be great in Middle Egyptian. You're not then you use some of those tools to help you with Old Egyptian, um, or and then there's the scariest, which is hieratic and hieratic writing, and then the scariest is demotic. Demotic is
Yeah, yeah, the only thing I did was
the,
I took Mujal's basic intermediate class or basic first class. I think I what do you call it when you sit in audited a middle Egyptian class or grammar class, and then studying
right.
with Wujalu, and then with Jetta Monk we were looking at the hieratic, um, and we were getting into that, just being able to read it. Uh,
Okay. So if you, like, for example, Gentleman Kekere is incredible meta nature teacher, but he was trying to move you from Middle Egyptian to hieratic, uh, to right, to course through those
because
two things.
I think it's, plus
Uh,
the main thing is most writings that they have. or a lot of them are in hieratic?
Yes, a lot of stuff is hieratic, but there are tools to help us. A lot of stuff has already been translated of the
Right.
biggest text.
But
So I
we
don't,
have to
you know,
parse
people.
through them to make sure the translations, kind of, the more we learn, then we have to see it from a perspective, from a more balanced. I'll say from a more balanced perspective and more indigenous perspective. I'll put it that way.
Uh, well,
Okay, I'm gonna say it
I
from a
see
black
Z.
reality. How about that?
Well, no, I don't do. See, here's the funny thing is, I don't. I don't. Generally, there's only some subjects that I disagree with Egyptologists on. I don't disagree on a lot of things because they actually have the primaries. I don't see them handling the word Kemet correctly, so I disagree with them largely on the words of Kemet. As far as the history is concerned, it depends on it depends on what sources is the Egyptologist using for a particular history. They do history very very well. I disagree with a lot of pseudo comedics on just the way they term things. Everything got to be goddamn
Well,
spirituality. I can't
Well,
I
I
can't stand
disagree
that shit.
with comes from the Egyptology perspective, with all the racism from the foundation of its core, uh, how
Right.
uh, I
Okay. Right. So what?
um,
So we don't have
systemic
too many.
of
We
Africa and the people. So that's the when I say from a black perspective or from a more balanced perspective or from a more fair perspective. I'm seeking truth. I'm not gonna, even though they gave us the tools and they helped they had it deciphered, and they've robbed all the tombs and got all the scrolls or what
look. Egyptians robbed tombs. God damn it! The goddamn Egyptians
they
robbed their
did. The
own
gold,
tombs.
hey, gold. I mean,
Huh? Say what?
that's all we was about, holding that nab,
They
that
robbed their own shit.
Naboo,
So I don't
that
understand. They
Naboo.
robbed old
But I'm
tombs
not
of
gonna cry
old
victim.
kings.
Crying victim.
God
I'm not
dag.
crying victim. I'm not, I'm black on black.
Well, but I'm just telling the truth. Ancient Egyptians robbed tombs. They were the first tomb robbers themselves,
Whew.
Africans. They robbed their own tombs.
Okay.
Before anybody else got
That,
there, the
that,
pharaoh be buried, and it would be the
I'm
workers who
on.
buried the pharaohs who would go in there and
I'm
rob the
on now. That
goddamn tombs.
Neanderthal gene coming out. No, let me stop. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Tom who called. All right. So, but yeah, I'm not.
Am I
I'm not
wrong?
just. I'm not. I didn't say you was wrong when you in
Shit,
when you
those
in the
are ancient
black
tombs. It was
community.
the workers.
What,
It was the
but
workers that knew where
whatever
the goddamn tombs were, how they were constructed, and
whatever
robbed them.
community you in, human nature goes on.
Yeah, so that's why. So when you saw tomb robbers, I was like the first tomb robbers were Africans robbing from different cult sects, different leadership, different or just super people wanting to be
Well, let's
capitalists
stay
in
in
that time
Africa.
period.
Don't take it to Paris or to Britain.
I'm saying in
Let us
Africa. So that's why I threw out this all this
don't
comedic
take it to
spooky
the
dookie.
Vatican. Let it stay in Africa. Share the knowledge. Share
I'm
the
not
knowledge.
there. I'm not even talking about you bringing them people
Nah, you
up.
beating up my people, so I'm just letting you know it's up.
I'm telling you the truth about your people. You're saying your
I am a
person of
person.
truth.
So I'm just telling
I'm
you, the people who are
saying,
capitalizing on it right now. I ain't trying to really get it out. I was just talking Neb
yeah, but
and
but
Wawa.
but
Nah, now Wadi, the Wat.
okay. So now we have a problem.
There's
So we have a difficult. I'm not trying to romanticize. I'm not trying to romanticize. I never try to romanticize the culture. I try to find out to understand the culture. So I have problems with people who are trying to always
who are you talking about? You
romanticize.
talking about me? No, you're not talking. You're not talking about me. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, the truth comes out. I'm romanticizing.
Right. If you're going to say that Africans didn't rob, weren't the first
Did you
two
hear me say that?
robbers, right?
Did, did you hear me
Huh?
say
Say
that,
what?
Reggie?
Are they?
I said black on black crime happens and human nature happens in the location that it's happening, right? You want me to come out and say yes, we robbed our own tombs?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you?
And
That's what
the
you
and the
really?
priest
That's what you
and the
really?
priest exploited people over
That's
over
what you
over their
really,
beliefs
Reggie. That's what
of
you
death.
really
They
pressing me to
charged
say.
them.
That's
They
like
charged them.
highlighting. Yeah,
They
we get.
they
That's
they
like
created a
me
whole
highlighting.
culture
Say,
of
yeah, we
charging
gang
you.
bang and we kill one another. Do you really want me to glorify? You want me to really bring that up?
No, I don't want you. I no, only in the context
I
that
don't
it
want to bring that
exists.
up.
Well, you so then
No,
you
I
want to
was gonna
hide it,
hide
right?
it because I understand, poverty. People gonna do what they do,
Okay.
and then when you're given a certain mentality and you're given the weapon to destroy, and you know
Some Africans, believe it or not, did not believe in the afterlife. They thought it was a waste of
who
time.
you keep bringing up the spooky dookie shit. See, you didn't hear me
No, I'm telling you, when I say, how am
talk.
I being
You
spooky when I say some Africans in the
you
Nile
didn't
Valley during the time of ancient Egypt in did not believe in
Reggie.
the
You
afterlife.
didn't hear me bring up nothing about uh religion. You didn't hear me bring. All I talked about was two places. Um, Gem Aten
Kim
and
Aten,
Naba,
not the
Playa.
plier.
And I was talking about the
Okay.
locations, and then you went on talking about grave robbing and spiritualism. You don't like people who do spiritual and romanticizing.
I talked about a lot of things. I talked about taking a formal
Right,
class
right.
in meta
But I
nature. I talked about time
right.
periods,
Why,
dictionaries,
and why did you say
right?
that? You know why you said it, and that's why I kind of
Why?
like And you was talking about
Why?
you was
You know
talking
what's in
about
my
writing
mind?
papers.
Okay, so um Shesmu
Yes, sir.
Fatah, 1 o'clock
Right.
in the morning, and this is off topic in which I wanted to
Oh,
do
okay.
deal with, but we did spend an
I
hour on
appreciate it.
this,
Yeah.
right? We did, and I am, and I was not, of course, disrespectful. Didn't say that you didn't know nothing. Didn't say any of those things. Just said, just tried to work with
I appreciate
you on uh, how I understand a few
it. Yeah.
things in this, and as you I'm kind of like schizophrenic because I care about this only when I'm teaching it to learn civics. I'm interested in law, justice, civics, building uh, for our people to learn that in our ancient time periods we were incredible civic people, right? We built culture,
Yep.
civilization, we
We had
built
law.
cities.
Yep.
We did it, and when we did it with beliefs and traditions, it worked well when we controlled when we were sovereign, but it did not work well every time that we were
Right.
invaded. When we were invaded or stuff, it all fell apart. We did stupid shit like make uh, Augustus, Alexandria, uh, Persians, uh, kings of
Right.
Egypt. Right? It worked well until it didn't work
Right.
well.
Well, that
Right? And
did
I
they
only
actually
yeah.
make them those kings, or did they take over as those kings? It's like, did you vote for the current administration, or did it?
Well, these people are coronated and drawn by ancient Egyptians. So some ancient Egyptians use the rituals and culture and languages uh, to coronate these people properly,
Right. That's,
right? They did it to maybe to survive, stay
mhm.
alive, and maybe they did it because they just worship whoever is the big
Yeah.
guy. or they did it because they thought later they could manipulate that king, like they started to manipulate the Egyptian kings, the priesthood. Priesthood was a very
Powerful.
uh,
I
conniving
agree with
group.
that. And I got one last question before you take to shut it down. What did Dr. Ben say? Or relate the spirituality of the Nile Valley. Do you remember? I'll put it this way. Do you? I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you remember what he said about what spirituality or religion is to the Nile Valley or within a culture? What does that mean?
Um,
If I
um,
go
I
ahead,
think, Joy, are you there?
I'm
Did
here.
you come
Oh,
in?
Joey.
Yeah, Joy, because he's trying
Hello,
to
you
come
hear
in.
me?
And yes, Joy.
Yeah, I
Can't
would
hear you,
agree
Joey.
with you that
I
what's up,
know
that
earlier you were
there's a
having
certain
some
level,
technical difficulties.
that there's a certain level of romanticism. I'm one of those people who are new in it,
Wi-Fi.
and I'm definitely guilty
Can
of
you
that.
hear him, Reggie?
I, I'm definitely guilty of that. So I'm gonna
Oh,
admit
so it must have cut
I'm at
me
the
out.
I'm
All
at
right.
the fist pumping stage, Reggie. I'm with the feel good at this point. Maybe later on I would not be with it, but I need some feel good. So you know, I'm still in denial about certain things, and I'd like to talk about certain things publicly. Because I think, I have to get more of a nuance before I start to talk. To say if this was something acceptable, if these people was doing some wild craziness. I have to learn that
Okay.
before I say it. But of course, but of course, in
Well,
ancient Kemet, they robbed tombs. You know, you hear Pharaoh say, "I just want to expand my territory to be greater than my father." But is that culturally acceptable, or was he just ego tripping? That's the question. Is that something that's
that's propaganda. That's propaganda. So I mean that, and so we had good kings. There was good kings in the civilization, and there were different. There were kings fighting for legitimacy.
right? And this is the nuance between saying that because you hear a man say something out of pocket, we have to know it's out of pocket and it's not culturally acceptable. He just wants to. Some people just want to be great, and that's not necessarily the culture. That's one man ego tripping.
Thank you so
That's one
much.
man ego tripping because that's not the normal thing that we see. So we have to assume that's an abnormal dude who's ego tripping because he wants to be great.
Wait, hold up. Everything stops. Met Dix, thank you so much. 82, thank you so much. This is you have given me my first super chat ever. Because I'm still not monetized, but you get the black power because I've never gotten a super chat. I didn't even know the damn thing works. So thank you so much. I'm in the Stone Ages because people don't support my work. But thank you so much. Now, now with that, I got to put up what you said. Why is this guy taking it too personal? I had no idea that the first tomb robbers were Africans. Yeah, they were. The first tomb robbers in Egypt were Africans themselves.
Well, of course, Reggie, of course. Because they have evidence of broken into tombs and things smashed up and people stealing things, which is why they have the Valley of the Kings to stop
Yeah,
that.
they had the police. They had to hire them, the police, the magi, to uh to be the police of the of the Valley of the Kings. God, and you shoot even the movie. What's the stupid movie with the Mummy? The Mummy, the Mummy series, Mummy
Yeah,
1 and 2, right? You see the Magi. They look like Arabs,
they
but
were
the
Arabs in
Magi,
the movie because the man was saying Allahu Akbar.
yeah.
Well, you know what?
So
Well, you know what's
they
interesting, Reggie? When you watch the movie, right? The big black dudes was the enforcers who was carrying out all the most horrible things in the movie. But the pretty roles go to the white boy and these Arabs shouting Allahu Akbar. And we know no way in the hell they knew anything about Allah 2,000 and 3,000 years ago. But people didn't catch that.
wait 1 second. I got another Ahmed. Thank you so much. Hope to meet you again. Right. Thank you so much. Uh, for everybody else, I have a Cash App. Now, so what were you saying? What we, what were you, I'm sorry. Jose, what were you
No, I
saying?
was saying that when you look at the movie The Mummy, all the enforcers who did the bad things were these big black dudes who didn't say anything. They just ran up.
They didn't do all the bad things. They protected in the first movie. They protect. Well, is it the first or the second? They protected the king, and the king got killed by his
Right.
wife.
But the
But Joey,
image
you
that they
said
give you, but
Joey,
the
you
image
said
that they give you is not a good image. They
Joey,
show
you
them
said
as these
something.
big black bullies who just run around doing the king's bidding in a negative way. They
Joey.
don't they, they don't
No,
present them very well to me.
Oh.
well, the if you the king's police, they were there to protect the king's police. When they were in one of the movies, they were dead and they came back because of a spell, and you had to do what the spell had to you had to do what the spell told you to
Reggie, can I
do.
be heard? Can y'all still hear me? Oh, Joey,
Yeah.
you said something.
The sound went out on me again. Oh man,
I,
damn. The sound went out again. Say it again, Pata.
I was saying, Joey, you said something crucial, and by saying they said Allah Akbar, or they knew nothing about Allah, and we know Allah presented itself in around what 500-600
Right,
AD, and here we are,
right.
here we are 2-3,000 BC. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh yeah, they made it for a movie audience, but that's the closest a lot of people got to this culture. So you can't look. I mean, we listen. A lot of us learned about Egypt from watching the Ten
Right.
Commandments, right? Right? With Yul Brenner
And let's
and Charles Destin, and
let's
we didn't know about Egypt until then. Shit, that's the first time we learned about Egypt, unless you started reading the Bible, and then we find out that that's all uh, it's stories, myths,
right.
movie made. So I can't blame the Mummy one and two, or even three. I guess with the Rock, I can't blame that because we watched the Ten Commandments and the Passion and all that other Ben Hur and all of that stuff. I when I was growing up, I didn't know about Egypt until or I definitely didn't know about Kemet until to college, and I learned Kemet in a Meta
Well, the
class.
Rock was playing Scorpion, so he could, and then he made up for it when he played Black Adam. So
Yeah, yeah, okay. He ain't make up. He ain't make up. I mean, he's part of the movies. He ain't make up for nothing. He, he's an actor. So the issue is that now we have the books, we have the materials. We can go to the libraries, we can go to the museums, right? And then we have to pick and choose how important is this? What can we take for our current lives? Because most of it got nothing to do with our goddamn current lives. And most of the people on YouTube talking about the subject, they they're just not in the level to write anything. They're not in the level to it's just for their own interest, and that's okay. But they're seriously not doing the work. And I know, right? I go to conferences, I present at conferences, and I try to talk to y'all, and then on YouTube I get into arguments that is that's that's that doesn't serve anything, because if I want to make a point, I'll write about it. I'll write an abstract. I'll publish, right? If I want to, but it's costly for me because I don't make anything. I don't really make anything out of this. I make other people money in debates and stuff like that, but I don't. What I try to teach people is Africa, and I spent way too much time on
but
Egypt.
yeah, me
Uh,
personally, I have a life, family and job, but some people have. I don't know. I don't want to say my hobby would be fishing, but and it's not even more deep sea fishing, not just go on a lake. But I will go on a lake. But when it comes to, I mean, I think a good thing. My art is not a bad way to live, and although my science would be more of Ifa, but and to know that, you know, the greatness of Africa, the different civilizations, and what all has transpired in them is a good, solid foundation. Before,
We should know. We should know who we are. Where we should know where
right,
who
and
we
I think
are.
history
Uh,
rewards
um,
all research.
I don't. I hear that from Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad taught that to Malcolm. Uh, I I would just say that sounds good.
You's a
Uh,
hater, man. You's a
all
hater.
Yeah, it all sounds good. It's all of these poetic words that people repeat
So
all over again. But it's but the thing about it is building yourself. So first, you want to before you die, you should try to know as many facts that you can prove, right,
why?
before you die. And Morpheus teaches that you should know your family. All these so-called Nosud biddies and or you're talking to these biblical figures and you don't know your own family, you're a freaking fool.
I know my
If you
family.
can't, huh? Say what?
I know my family. Matter of fact, I just lost an aunt this week, 90 years old.
I'm sorry about your auntie,
She
but
lived. She lived
oh,
I said great, but she lived a long life. She lived a long life.
but you should know your you should look. Let me just show y'all something. I gotta go to bed. All right, let me just show you something,
I know
and
parts of my family go back to 1692.
I'm gonna go. You said what?
I know parts of my family that go back to 1692.
1692, and they black?
They're Melungeon.
They're what?
Melungeon.
What's Melungeon?
Moors.
Moors?
Hmm.
And you got records of them?
Yep.
I don't believe you.
My name is on. Matter of fact, I could get you. I could. You could. Well, no, well, we'll. Reggie.
Your
Matter of
name is
fact,
Fatah.
Reggie, check this out. I'm gonna email you, and we're gonna exchange numbers, and I
Oh
will.
no, I don't have. Listen, listen. Listen. The time that I have when you see me on here is largely the time that I have. The rest, I'm trying to live my life. I'm a goddamn senior citizen,
Well,
right?
I'm still going. I'm gonna email you. So
I'm a senior citizen. I mean, I don't. Look, I don't have too much time on this planet. Not saying that you do too, either.
right, we have
Close to my age,
more,
but
more time.
but a lot of these people, I'm arguing with people who are 40 years old, 35 years old, 28 years old in their diapers, right? So I look, I don't have time. I don't look. Look. Excuse me. I don't want to be facetious, but yeah. I don't have the time that I have for y'all is the time that I have. So let me just share. Let me just make this bigger and go through this, and I'll come back. So, put this over here. It's personal information. So, so here is where I am with my family, and I can do it with ancestral records, genealogy records, right? Family records. My parents, my parents, my father, my mother, my mother's father, my mother's mother, my father's father, my father's mother, my grandmother's father, my grandmother's on my father's side, uh, 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 mother, and on my mother's side, her father's father, my father's my grandfather's mother, right? My and on this particular side, my on my mother's side, her mother, her mother's mother and father, and then so on. So and then over here is 16. This is 16, and from here I'm filling in the blanks, but my family largely goes into slavery. So then we lose our records,
Mm.
right? And so if you don't have this, if family, if you don't do this, and you're talking about some deity, you're talking about some Abraham, Isaac, Joseph, some Jesus, and you can't even do, and you don't do this, then you're not, then your family wasted their time with you, because you know why? Because you forgot the people who birthed you, and you want to mythologize somebody else's story, but you don't want to make your own family great.
I have a photo of my great grandfather and the family.
Yeah, great. And so you should go to ancestry. You should go to ancestry, and you should plug
I
it in.
already, yeah, on my that's on my mother's side. Now my on my father's side, my aunt already she sent me the records. I have them on have them digital on DVD on CD.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and I know the people here who are white, some of them who are white, like Molly,
Mhm.
Mary Molly Polly, and over here Susan Rossi, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I know white folks,
Far
and
back.
but I think I ain't got no goddamn uh, 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 how can I say Aboriginal bullshit in my of my family. My family most comes from Africa, and integrate with the population of white folks.
Well, I do. I have Lene Lenape ancestry.
Okay, so that's okay. Okay, so and where are they? They are in
They're right up there with right up there near you. They're Aqua.
right. That's what I thought. Right. So those groups of people, but I'm not but when I'm talking about these abos, they can't do this. They don't want to do this, right? Because when you actually do stuff like this with ancestry, you, for example, Jenny Mabry, what happens is these are real people. These are just not names here, right? There's birth records over here, right? Death records and children,
And
right?
you don't think Professor Smalls knows his people?
Uh, listen. Here's my rules. Here, here's my rules. My rules is, and I don't. You may know he. I don't. I'm pretty sure he knows it, right? I don't know why you brought that up, but my own elders asked me to help them with their own family members. So here's Leonard Jeffries, right? And and so here's Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So my own elders asked me to do research on their family.
Right.
So I don't so now this is Dr. Leonard Jeffries asking me. Dr. Leonard Jeffries' real name is not Jeffries, it's Jefferies. It's
Okay.
Jefferies, right? And so he becomes Jeffries in another period, but he's Jeffries. He becomes Jeffries with Jesse Jeffries, but Jeffries' father is Jefferies. So he gave me the skills, and I used the skills for to help him with genealogy.
Nice.
So when you say to me, does Professor Small know? Fine. My rules is I'm definitely Professor Small. I know him for years. A student of his. I worked underneath him, but I don't know nothing until I see it.
Yeah, I
I
can.
don't know. I don't know jack. I don't know nothing until I see it. I know that Dr. Ben's name is not Dr. Joseph Ben Johannan. That's not his name. His name is Antonio Alfredo Johannes.
Mm,
He came into the Americas in about the 1940s,
okay.
immigrated,
From
right?
Puerto
He
Rico.
took the name Joe Cannon as he began to write and scholar, and he was part of uh, the commandment keepers,
Okay.
right? So I know people's real names, not these fake names that other people know them by, which are the shallow names. I knew a lot of these people personally. I know Dr. Malefi Asante's real name. I know Sister Donna Richards' real, um, that's her real name, Sister Donna Richards. Um, uh, you know her as another name,
Queen of
right?
Football. I know Reggie Marbury's real name.
Yeah, yeah. Reginald, Reginald Mabry, right?
Okay.
So I only so and I know, and because I was close to these people in a different type of way, um, I know many of their children. I know many of their personal problems besides them being great people, but we all have personal issues. But so I don't romanticize people, right? I don't need to. I don't.
You know you're a hotepper. Cut it out.
No, I'm not. I'm not none of those things. That's something to other people. I just spent my life trying to learn as much as I can.
You know they used to call it. They called us hoteppers. They called us.
Call you hoteppers. They don't call me no hotepper.
They've called you hotepper before too.
You won't
Oh,
call me no hotepper. Nobody that I could respect.
oh,
A child can call me anything.
oh Lord, you calling all them Hebrews children?
Most of them are younger than me. I was around to see Arya speak at his prime, Abba Bivens to speak at his prime, right? I went to school with the commanding general Yohana, right? Yeah, like a lot of these other people are children. Daniela is not a child at
Hashar
all.
called you a hotepper.
Yeah, well, Hashar can call Hashar. Come on, he's super Hashar. He can call me anything. He could
Yeah,
call me anything,
I like.
but I could call him a convert, which I did. He a convert, but Hashar's my dude though. He
Right.
respect me.
Are
Shoot,
cool. I like.
In the streets of New York, Hashar. If I'm having a problem, Hashar will punch you in the, or punch a dude in the face, right?
Mm,
He's my dude,
I
right?
like Cesaria. I like all. I ain't got no problem with nobody.
Yeah, yeah. So the furthest I could really go in my family is around 1808 and 1823. That's the
Yeah,
furthest that I have went,
yeah.
right? And so that's anyway. So with that said, family, what Z says, I did. What Z says, I did my DNA. My shit went back to Spain. No, Z, that's part of it. It just depends. Z, that's okay. That's okay. But that's what line? So you have your father's line, and if it's going back to Spain, that means wow, you went wow. That means you went back. Uh, you went back to the 1400s, right? My some of these, if I could say that some of these people like Susan Rossi and stuff like that, these people are like some of them are English, some of them are Italian, and so sure I'm gonna go back. Shit, I go back with them to the goddamn Etruscans. So Z, don't be upset. You know, if it goes back to Spain, you could be part of like what like Shesmu said, the Moorish groups, the Arab groups. That's not that's history. But I'm glad you're doing history instead of believing in these mythological patriarchs. So with that said, family, I hope you had a good time with me. I don't stream well. I don't stream a lot, and I do go on other people's show, but
Reggie, real quick. When you say Moors, it's Mitsawoket. Mitsawoket. And there's a website that was founded and it has all the lineage on that website. Of
well, are they North Africans? Or they what are they?
uh, Europeans, Native Americans,
In
and
in Spain?
Spain, Italy.
They
Uh,
know North Americans. I mean, North Americans in Spain.
No. When I say North Americans, I mean Native. See, the women of those Melungeon communities would marry European men, but the men would tend to either marry Native American or African.
In
So,
Spain,
so it's a no in United States.
there's Moors in the United States.
Google that right quick.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to sleep. Hey, family, it was fine. Thank y'all so much for and Ahmad, thank you so much for the only Cash App that I got, and I'm gonna put my Cash App in one more time. Um, but wow. Uh, okay, did my DNA paternal went to Yoruba and maternal went to Tikar people in Cameroon? Okay, good. So look, that's just humanity admixture. Beautiful thing. At least you know, right? You're not no dummy who believing in that they did the ancient Hebrews. Oh my goodness. I know. Huh? That their bloodline goes to ancient Egypt, ancient Hebrews, right? At least you're not. At least you're not that. You're not doing bloodline. At least you're trying to match names and people. So with that said, uh, thank you very much. Uh, and let me just see music. I want to thank y'all very much for spending some time with me tonight, learning something about police traffic illegal traffic stops, why they are right, and I'm going to the museum tomorrow.
Yeah, take some if you can, take some video and bring back a presentation.
For what? If somebody's gonna give me a cash app, shit.
I thought you did it for the community. I thought you did it for the people.
I used to do it for the people. People don't respect me. They like clicks and giggles and stuff like that. So if I decide to, I'll decide to,
All
right?
right.
But I'm not. I don't run back for people who say I love your work, but I ain't gonna support your work. So
Well,
with that said,
I hope the lines are not long, and it's a good new presentation of information of the queens.
maybe.
I mean the gods, not the queens, the gods, quote unquote.
Well, with that said, I want to say good night.
Peace.
Peace. Peace, family. Thank you, Ahmad.